Hi, Lima. Good morning. Sup? Is it okay to closet after a teacher move? Whatever you want to do, bro. Don't let anybody else tell you what is and or isn't allowed in your own ROM hack, you know? Or in your, not your own ROM hack, your own run, you know? Say, Cody, thank you, bro. 1 second, guys. I think a lot of the time, big player approval. Dude, listen. Here's the way I see it. Most of the skill in Run and Bun is around planning lines, constructing stuff. Do whatever you want. Like, I know that would be a shitty way to lose. It's up to you. Panic, David the raid. Oh shit, I'm sorry. I mean, it's your run. Your run. Jervsky.
I would be TW.
Would what? Thank you for the 8 months. I appreciate it. Enjoy the emote step badge ad previewing. What's up, Lima? Bellucci, Obo, Bass, Not Fake, Zisu. What's up, Imad? Guido. Lucy. Green Cat, Carol, Beefy. What's up, Platonic? Hi, Bella. Jervsky, Starmaster, Panic, Quipsta. What, Abel, hello. Scooter. Nah, don't take my opinion. Because I'm just one person. Hi, talk to you. I appreciate the lurk. Thank you. Thank you. Looney Tunes runs. Okay, listen, guys. After I ended last stream, I kind of just quickly realized I'm super burnt out of Run and Bun right now. I played a lot. Listen, I grinded Run and Bun for a long time. Took me like a year and a half to beat it. Then I got super burnt out, obviously. But then I came back to it, played a lot of it, played a bunch of stuff in between, and then I was playing it a lot over the last like 6 months. I'm just burnt out. I need to take a break, but I will always come back to Run and Bun. I will always come back to Run and Bun. League Week would go brazy. I haven't been playing League. What's up, Neff? What's up, Dez? Hi, Mini Maximus. Be so many Run Max, you gotta make your own. Hi, Will. As much as you do. Listen, I love Run and Bun, but I want to like... I'm just burnt out, dude. I'm just burnt out. Hi, Fennekin. And I'm cool with taking a break, right? I'm cool with it. CK Plus? I beat CK Plus. Ren Hergate Platinum? Well, listen. I wanted to have a discussion. Hi, Aiden. Dude, Panic. That route's demon. I wanted to have a discussion. Bad lighting. Whatever. PK's Platinum Kaizo. I'm good, Des. I'm good. Oh, I'm totally fine. I'm just like... the Marble Lock's still alive. I just need to, like, not play Run and Bun right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just need to not play Run and Bun. That's so fine, right? Like, that is so okay. I just need to stop playing. Like, I love Run and Bun to death. I've played Run and Bun so much. I thought it was fun using all these encounters you don't get to use. I just need a break. What's up, Ivory? Deadlock stream? No. Did you finish it, Sexual X? Kind of. I beat the Elite Four and I wiped to the like fight with Z or with Z. Is his name Z? What's his name? The other guy, the old ass guy. So kind of. I would maybe play it again. I'm doing good. Hi, Alcero. What's up, Pyromancer? Basic consistency insane. Thank you. But like, I mean, I love Run and Bun. I love making content around Run and Bun. I think it's a lot of fun. So I'm not here to like figure out what game to play right now necessarily. Hi, Sheppa. Confirmed for the February 18th for sure. No, not really. We know there's a direct happening that will talk about Platinum Kaizo on that day, kind of like Nintendo Directs, but we don't know what's coming out. Yeah, Carol, I would say if you would feel okay, if you clause that, then do it. And if you know you would feel weird about it, then don't. Working on Rom Hack myself to be the next big thing after PK. Hello. Hell yeah. Go back to your roots. I'm not here to discuss what Rom Hack to play. I want your guys' opinions as the Nuzlocke community. What? I guess we can talk. Let's just talk about this, right? What? How do I word this? Hi, Muskrats. What do you guys think? Let's take Run and Bun, for example. What is something in Run and Bun? Okay, let's do this. What are your favorite things about Run and Bun? Let's do it this way. What are your favorite things about Run and Bun? How do I do this again? It's format. There we go. Can I do 1 second? I've been meaning to do this for a while. One second, I'm gonna disappear for a second. Oh! There we go. Okay. Yeah, what are your favorite things about Run and Bun? AI consistency and quality of life. Real quick. I want to just write these things down. Quality of life. Hi, Emmy. Quality of life, scaling encounters, niches, quality over quantity, AI, the heart, scale, candy. Oh, that's another one. Heart scales / candies. Mega, you like Mega Evolution? Well-crafted battles, creative battles. Decent encounter pools. AI is pretty intuitive. I think intuitive AI is a big thing. In general, the favorite thing about Run and Bun is the puzzle-like nature of a lot of fights. Yeah, I agree with that. Boosted stats for unused Pokemon. So I'm of the opinion, no more encounter delays. That's an interesting one. What's up, Vista? Can you expand on that one? Why don't you like encounter delays? Hi, Soy. Player or reviewer perspective? Both, honestly. Let's say both. Can I say a bad thing? Yeah. Tell me all of it. Level caps option. What do you mean? I also could not pronounce your name if I tried. But hi from YouTube chat. Hi, YouTube chat, by the way. Level caps option. Are you saying like an option in the game where like it forces you to have hard level caps, but then there's an option you can do where you have to manage experience? Resource management is super fun. Okay, a lot of people are saying resource management. I think that's interesting. Hard level caps. I like hard level caps too. It really depends on the game, but I do like hard level caps. Creativity of fights. Yeah, creative battles. So contests become boring. Yeah, great song. Hi, Unrest. Definitely not IAG. Definitely not. I think that the heart scale, well, heart scales isn't a run and bun thing. That was a thing in Emerald Kaizo as well. But balanced starters, that's a good one. Hi Zeph, what's up, dude? But hearts, rare candies was, as far as I know, a run and bun thing. And the thing about rare candies is that it's really interesting, right? Because it technically defies the rules of a hardcore Nuzlocke because it goes over the level cap. But I think when there's limited resources like rare candies, it's really cool. Mechanics through early niche fights. I agree with that. Game teaches mechanics through, I'll do like via early game. Hi, I'm exploring. Not every Pokemon's catchable in the game. You like that? Okay, got it. I also like that. Some degree of open worldness, doing certain major fights in unset order, maybe, depending on how your current box is looking. That's interesting. Lack of setup / weather. So that's something you like or dislike? Different types of skill expression. Stat changes are fine, but if they like change how you can see a Pokemon, I think it's bad. Stat changes shouldn't make Pokemon do something different entirely, kind of. I think it depends on the game. Like, I think Ancestral X and like Vintage White are obviously like very extreme examples of like completely changing a Pokemon. Which I think those have their place for sure, right? That's true, Maximus. That's a good point. Setup weather often ends up as cheese. I agree. Lack of setup / weather for player. I made this list consideration for your game or just something interactive to do. We'll talk about that. Well, let me see what Vista said. Where's this message? Like, I don't want to walk through Petalburg to wait for Primarina. I want to have a more diverse box early game. Well, you can pull Petalburg. There's nothing stopping you. Weather and stat boosting abilities I get, but stuff like Technician off Scizor, huge power off Azumarill / Diggersby, stuff like that I dislike. Okay. I agree with that story. I think it's cool. Both singles and doubles. Agreed. Something I dislike, it's fine for regular trainers to be hard, but sometimes the regular trainers are way harder than the boss of that section of the game. That's true, but that's also kind of hard to, like, it's difficult to enforce that because everybody's box is different, right? Big boss victories that throws you into more fights. But, like, okay, that's a good point, but how would you, like, how would you fix that? Removes their identity. Well, I honestly think part of Diggersby's identity is that it gets Cheek Pouch as well. Like, I think of Diggersby as a Pokemon that gets Cheek Pouch and Huge Power. At least for Run and Gun's sake. And I think it's a very diverse Pokemon in that instance. Because, like, okay, Diggersby is a pretty good example, I think, for stuff like this. Because when you get Diggersby, it sucks. It's not a good Pokemon, right? But Brawly, right? Diggersby can come in on a Thunder Punch, kill Combuskin with an Oran Berry, most of the time, unless you're minus attack. And then you can also heal up to like near full with an Oran Berry plus Cheek Pouch and use it as a Rock Slide pivot. And then on Roxanne, it can beat Bisharp and pivot on rock moves. And then on Watson, it's obviously a ground type. So it has like a lot of use because of that. So I don't think it removes its identity. I think Azumarill is a better example of removing an identity for a Pokemon, but I like the multiple regions in Gen 2 if it forced you to start from the scratch. Each region would be awesome. That's pretty cool. Hi, Uncle Hobby. Kills you must dies to Watson as hero. Profit? No, facts. Just me, but I really dislike ability 50-50s where it's like one is super good is insane, the other one's completely useless. Yeah, I agree with that. Ability 50-50 balance. Like Donphan's a great example where Sturdy is really good and then Battle Armor is really good, but for different reasons. Azumarill's not bad in Run and Gun. That's cap. Like Azumarill in Run and Gun's really good. It's really solid. It's just like a less good Prim. Intimidate versus Sandrush. Like Sandrush, I think in theory, Intimidate and Sandrush are both fine if there's opportunities to use Sandrush, but there's not. Like, it like never comes up. Some shorter Rom hacks could be cool to Nuzlocke. Can I be honest? I know this is definitely just like more of an opinion thing, but I love the long, grindy nature of games like Run and Bun and Emerald Kaizo. Obviously, Emerald Kaizo is not nearly as long, but I love it. Access to hidden abilities could be cool with limited ability pills or something. The issue with that is there's like... There are Pokemon... Okay. It creates an issue where you're severely limited in the Pokemon you can put in your game if you get ability pills. So, like, let's say... What's a good example here? Let's say you want to put Pelipper in your game, right? But you don't want to give it Drizzle, so it gets, like, Keen Eye or something. But then it gets, like... I guess Lucid's a good example, right? Like, you get Pelipper and Lucid. Let's say if Lucid had ability pills, then you could just use one on Pelipper and get a 10 ability, and you have Drizzle. But it's like... Okay, let's say you want to have ability pills, but you also want to have Pelipper. You kind of can't really have both unless you rework Pelipper, I guess. Starters not having Blaze, Torrent, Fast Overgrow was a massive positive. I really like no Blaze Infernape. Okay, interesting. That's really interesting to me, actually, because I was wondering about that. Also, sorry, I'm obviously asking questions to the entirety of chat, so it's moving pretty fast. So I'm missing some stuff. I really like the field effect gimmicks like Magma Hideout and Rain / Thunderstorm routes. There should be some with Wonder Room, Magic Room, Gravity, and Inverse Battle in effect. Imagine an Inverse Battle gym where your Butterfree pops off. That's interesting. I don't love Inverse Battles. Yeah, I know. Sorry, I don't really remember the difference. I know ability pills and ability patches or whatever are like different. I don't remember which one's for hidden abilities, so if I misspoke, my bad. Whichever one gives you hidden abilities. Normal hidden abilities are... different abilities. It creates much more interesting story identity. I agree with that. Hot take, triple battles are fun. Triple battles, okay, I agree in theory in a game that's not Gen 5. Gen 5 is so ass. Right, Solar Flare. Yeah, I always forget. Ability patches, yeah. Limited Protect distribution. Do you like that, Big Ken? Do you enjoy that, or do you think it's bad? Plenty of different battle concepts, singles, doubles, gauntlets, multi is kind of what IMO calls my interest. As much as I'm not good at gauntlets, it's a different vibe. I love gauntlets. I like the run keeps the player's power level low so that the enemies can have creative strategies that are still difficult. Agreed. Voltorb flip, based. Not the Gen 5 slander? Yeah, sorry. No protect / toxic TMs? Are you saying no protect period? Oh, don't worry, Taiji. That's a given. What's up, dude? Easy IV / I guess EV IV. This seems like it's a given at this point, but like easy IV check. I think that's also a good point. Is it Yoquin? I don't know how to pronounce your name. I'm sorry. No EVs. No EVs. Yeah, I think we all agree with no EVs. Also, here's maybe a hot take. My hot take is that Nuzlockers in the Nuzlocke community are spoiled. And the amount of quality of life in Run and Bun is great. I think we don't need stuff like Porta PC. Although, it can be fine. But I don't think we need Porta PC. Like Joaquin. Okay, that's kind of what I figured. I think Porta PC is kind of a spoiled thing. Happiness check for evolutions. Honestly, I just think happiness evolutions are bad. Hardcaps versus EXP management. I think that's a discussion on its own, right? Especially with gauntlets. Yeah. Having gauntlets impossible. Well, no, in CK Plus, there's Porta PC, right? And then the gauntlets, it just disables it for them. Horn region, you need Porta PC? I don't agree. Useful but not broken trades. That's an interesting one. Yo, SMB, thanks for the 10 months. I appreciate it. Enjoy the emote sub badge ad previewing. Real quick, let me...
Squirking my shit right now.
I've been meaning to do this for a while.
Hello, Squirk. I saw grinding in Pokemon games discourse in my...
Thank you so much for the resub. Some of the spoil quality of life is nice, but for time min-maxing, but it feels a bit overhyped. I agree. Okay. Part of my come-up was playing Kaizo games. Kaizo games are supposed to be tedious. Emerald Kaizo, Crystal Kaizo Plus. Like, I love Blue Kaizo. So I don't think the tedium of it is a bad thing. I think that's part of what should make a game so difficult. As long as it's not like, okay, I don't necessarily agree with like the whole like SHF, Emerald Kaizo, like insane tedium of like the puzzles being like intricate, or like in Blue Kaizo, for example, Safari Zone, to get to the end of it, you have to take every perfect step. Not like that, but like running back and forth for fights, I think is not a bad thing. With, like, to an extent, I think. Having, like, not having the 20% boosted items, good options for hazard clearing or protect kind of sucks. Oh, yeah, a good calc. By the way, if you're just coming to stream, calc is short for calculator. I'm just using slang. No optionals unless they're guarding an item or something. I don't know why they're in run and bun. Yeah, I kind of agree with that. Optionals with purpose. Forward and back from 119 some ass. I agree, kind of. Okay, here's what I think. I think there should just be more places with PCs. Like, that house on Route 119 should just have a PC in it or something. Lucid in-game calc, I think, is so insanely cool. I actually don't agree. I don't like that. I think it holds your hand too much. But I think a game like Lucid kind of needs it, where it's so like bloated with mechanics. Don't like the 8th rolls. Well, the Lucid AI is just so unintuitive that it needs that. 8th roll makes so much sense. How? Because I think objectively it doesn't. Some are way too long. I was just talking about it, Chris. I think some are way too long, but I think run and bun being as long as it is good. Because I think it should be an absolute grind. It's not a novelty, and Feather Badge is often the play, but the Mausoleum Corner thing is cool. I agree. I feel like a journey. 100% agreed. Like, I mean, I think that you can't lie, right? Beating a game that is as long of a grind as Run and Bun is so rewarding. And if you beat a game that was like half as long, it would still feel rewarding if it's like on Run and Bun's difficulty. But like as long of a grind as it is, like, I think is a good thing, because it's like Run and Bun is so fun. The AI is so good and it stays creative all the way through. Like, why do you want to make it shorter other than like laziness, I guess? I think the only place where Run and Bun really drags is route, like the way to Fortree. A bit buggy. Yeah, I mean the bugs, right? Difficult, frustrating, and tedious. Okay, how then? What's up, Mad Mini? How's it going? Be paced better? I agree with that. I think pacing is important. Hi, Ventura. Run AI is very close to perfection, but doubles are kind of one-dimensional outside of TNL and Flan. I agree with you 100%. Variety and strategy to beat trainers, spam bold strats get boring. Agreed. As a player, you click stab dark pulse over stab air slash. Wait, what do you mean? Because you know 8th roll does more? But like, how do I word this? Okay. Pokemon Lucid, here's my, I guess, more in-depth opinion of Pokemon Lucid's AI, right? I think the double battle AI is good. I think it makes it so you can't just like rely on protect strats with like your protect mon, like just baiting moves into one slide, right? I like the way Run and Gun does it too, but I don't think the way Lucid does it is bad. When it comes to single battles, specifically the 8th roll thing, like, this is what I fucking hate about it, is like, let's say you're using a Sawsbuck, right? And the AI has a Malamar, or I don't know, whatever. A Malamar that has like Psychic and Dark Pulse. Dark Pulse is like 80 base power, Psychic's like 90, right? And there's overlapping rolls, and your Sawsbuck's like dead to just the 8th roll of Psychic, but the 8th roll of Dark Pulse is like 4 damage less. But Dark Pulse could still kill your Sawsbuck. But it's guaranteed Psychic, so you just leave, right? And you just go into a Dark type, right? It's a bad example because the Dark type would take Dark Pulse too, but you know what I mean, right? I think that's fucking stupid. I think that's so fucking stupid. It's like, I get if people like that. Like, I think it's kind of not a great example just because, like, you're taking both of those moves anyway. But the idea is there. It's like, I think Run and Gun just does it better in the sense of, like, oh, your Pokemon, oh my god, the top roll of this move kills. Like, okay, as shit as it feels in the moment, like, I guess a good example is my Flannery fight where the top roll of Heat Wave killed my Armaldo. That's something you have to plan around. But if it was Lucid, it would just be guaranteed. And I think that's lame. I think if a Pokemon sees a kill on you with a move, in most situations it should be able to use that move, even if it's only the top roll. Or I guess, like, you know what I mean? But in Lucid, it would not be able to do that. Too deterministic? Yes. I think in a lot of situations, less is more. I've said this before. I think, in general, less is more. Especially with ROM hacks. I agree with that, Dribsky, yeah. But, I don't know. I don't... This is going to sound shitty, but I don't really care. Like, Run and Gun was made to be this really, really thought-provoking, difficult, and rewarding ROM hack that was a real grind to beat as a Nuzlocke. And, like, yes, I would love to cater to everybody if I were to make a ROM hack that was really difficult by making it shorter. But, like, I just don't think it's... I think when you're trying to make a really, like, difficult, prestigious ROM hack that is, like, a genuine, like, achievement to beat, I don't think that you should cater to people who have a real, like, who have, like, a job and, like, commitments that they have to, like, prioritize, right? Like, those things are separate from, like, the main point, which is making this very, like, difficult, prestigious achievement of a ROM hack, right? Employ people are evil? Exactly, yeah. Like, obviously, I mean, I don't know. My point is, like, there are obviously people who can't sit down and grind a game for 10 hours a day like me, right? But, like, there are plenty of people who, like, look at Moxie, bro. Moxie has a wife, a fucking, like, mortgage, a full-time job, like, an actual life, and he's one of the, like, top 20 people to beat Run and Gun. He was one of the first people to do it. And contextually. So I just don't think that's an excuse. Bone Mill, literally a doctor. Like, I don't think that's an excuse. Personally. Like, yeah, it would be great. And there are ROM hacks for people like that who, like, oh, I don't have time to grind, or like, blah, blah, blah. You can play other games, right? It'll take longer. If you really are committed to it, you'll find a way, right? So it picks damage consistently. Like, if there's a move that does 85 to 100% damage, it will always see in the middle, so you will never think that because you're fully... Yeah, I think that's stupid. Counter range beat Run a day. He was calculating shit at work. Based. Like, that was a really long-winded way of saying skill issue, but it's true. I still think Run and length is bloated. Why? I think 118 towards Fortree, 119 Weather Institute area feels bloated. Or, like, feels like it drags. By encounter pools? Good encounter pool... Okay. Another issue with Lucid, this is more subjective, more of a personal thing. I think a lot of the encounters in Lucid are really boring to use. And I think Run and Bun, for the most part, there are obviously exceptions, has really interesting encounter pools. Pre-C4 and Cavern Wanjum is a drag. How? It's what? It's a constantly changing weather section. Forcing you to use... Oh, yeah. The Lucid starter situation is objectively terrible. Between Watson and Norman. I get that. A pain in the ass. I mean, it's hard, yeah. Early game, but that's just because I've gone through it so many times. I think that is part of it, yeah. I think you could cut some post-Roxanne trainers. They're all walk over until the double. I agree with that. I think Dexa... Okay, I don't know, because I haven't talked to Dexa about it. I think the mindset that Dexa maybe had was the ability for the player to fight the trainers on 116 to get an extra encounter for Roxanne being Rusturf. But I think in reality, the way it turned out is that it's just way too, like, not realistic, you know? More rewards. I agree, yeah. And I don't think a Rusturf tunnel encounter is going to help you for Roxanne, really. That's the idea I would imagine. I could be super wrong. And the candy, yeah. Too many fights. I think if you took out some fights in Run and Bun... But, okay, here's the thing, right? I think if you took out a lot of the fights in Run and Bun that were super forgettable and, like, really easy regardless, people would still complain. Because I think they just complain about... Oh, you get no breaks. Or something like that. You know what I mean? I don't know. I think you have to have some fights like that. Then it's just all really hard fights. And then people are going to complain for the same reason. Huge break for the player. Yeah. Like, I don't know. Here's the thing. You brought up, like, the player gets no breaks, which I think is fair. But then people also complain about stuff like 119 being, like, boring. Like, what is a break then, right? Like, what is a break? People complain a lot, but that doesn't mean that's the problem. Well, that's what I'm trying to do here, is figure out what to do to fix it. No breaks feels the best. I agree. I don't want walkovers yet. We're going to think a break is touch grass. That's facts. Everything about Run compared to Lucid except for the Lucid quality of life with seeing reflect slash... Okay, that's a good point. But that is something that I think is worth talking about, right? Is something like... counting reflect light screen turns a skill. Yes, right? Yo, true, you man. True. PP counting a skill? Yes, I think so. Is counting reflect and light screen turns a skill? My thing is, like, whenever I play a game and there's a reflect light screen counter, I'm always like, oh, thank God. But that also could just be me being lazy. Is it a skill you want to test in your game? That's also a good point. That's also a very good point. My hideout is not that bad. Only the last room... Wait, hold on. Magma hideout is not that bad. Only the last room requires a lot of calcing IMO. Most of the grunts are like 3 to 4 when it's not that bad. No, you're spitting facts. Like, obviously it requires, like, calcing still. But, like, Magma hideout's easy as fuck, bro. Are we disagreeing with this? Like, there's a couple hard fights in there, but other than the last room, it's so easy. We're just having a long discussion about it, Rasputout. Hello, by the way. Is it really skillful to count to 5? Kind of. Okay, in hindsight, here's my opinion. I think... Okay, I had to think about this. I think that a light screen or reflect counter is good. And I don't think it needs it. However, I think if you're planning around light screen or reflect anyway, you're doing so in your plan when you plan the fight.
I was mistakenly timed out the other day for 24 hours during Bridge Rival. Crawdaunt.
Yo, LC, thank you for the 30 months. I appreciate it. That wasn't a mistake. That was the rules. Enjoy the emote sub badge, ad-free viewing. I appreciate you, dude. Thank you for the 30 months. That means a lot. Oh, 100% green cat. Well, other than Hellroom. So she's a yeah, I think the camp timers is a good comparison, Frosty. But yeah, thank you, LC. Hope you're doing well. Tailwind / taunt turns. But okay, here's the other thing I think about, right? I think about the idea of like the content surrounding a game like this. And it's like, I mean, I don't know. If the game tells you how many tailwind turns are up, we would never get situations where somebody would like miscount or forget. And I think that makes good content. True, Will. Most of us aren't playing the game to make content. That's also a good point. But I don't think it's necessarily... I think... How do I word this? I think that something like a reflector light screen counter, like Tailwind or Taunt or Encore or whatever it may be counter, is like... It is a skill, but is it a skill I don't want to test? I'm not sure. I don't know. Too much help to the players will make the game boring. Yeah, I agree with that. I think that's kind of what I'm trying to say. I think a good difficulty curve is important in a first gen like Brawly, where you're kind of just fucked if you don't get the right encounters. Feels pretty bad. I kind of agree, but also I don't... I think it should be rewarding. I personally don't think I think Brawly is really well designed. I don't know. I think that's my takeaway from Run and Bun. I think Run and Bun's early game is really well designed. Refuse to sack on that fight. I agree 100%. Because if you're like, I mean, look at me, right? I don't want to sack on Brawly because I know I can get back there in like 30 minutes. Blaze / swarm indicator for opponent. That's a really good shout. Overgrow / blaze / torrent / swarm indicator for AI Pokemon. That's a really good shout. Good shit, Dusty, dude. That's a really good shout. Norman's bad? I don't agree. I think Norman's hard. Enemy HP in general? Yeah, that's a good point. Maybe enemy exact HP. But also, I think that brings up, like... I don't know, like, the idea of, like, really hoping a move kills, and you think it does based on, like, what it looks like, but it doesn't exactly. Something to think about. I like the uncertainty of it. Do you think early game should be less encounter RNG dependent? Kind of. Kind of. I think to make a game really hard like Run and Bun, the early game is going to have RNG elements that are going to feel unfair sometimes. Because here's the thing. Run and Bun isn't solved necessarily because there's RNG elements in the early game that can just fuck you, but to a certain point, it feels pretty solved. I mean, look how easily people are doing 1DR. Obviously, there's, like, things they're dodging, right? Which, of course. But, like, that just goes to show, like, how doable it is without one Death Eagles reset, you know? How is getting got by forgetting swarm range different from getting got by miscounting Tailwind / reflect? Well, I'm saying for the other Pokemon, like, it's okay. Pokemon HP indicators are really bad is the thing. Like, there are situations where it looks like a certain number, but it isn't quite there. But just because of the way the HP works. And I think when it comes to, like, the enemy Pokemon being in Swarm, there's no real way to know for sure if it's on the line, you know? For your own, I don't think there needs to be an indicator for your own Pokemon necessarily. I think the only reason for an indicator... Thank you for the hype train, by the way, guys. The only reason for the indicator is for people watching. And I think that's okay. Here's a good thing to bring up. To more issue bar colors. That's interesting. Interesting way to do it. Being ambiguous, like you have to calc out the damage you do to each opponent. Definitely tedious, though. I agree. I'm wondering what kind of tedium is worth... Is like worth it, you know? Route planning in the sense of what content to do and what that means for a run in terms of richer or poorer for a choice of some sort. Okay, I think that is interesting too. What's up, Spencer? Maybe. Random pulls for fixed encounters like the Hoenn starters and Lava Ridge R&B. That's interesting. Okay. I think, okay, one of the things that people always mention when I did play Lucid on stream was that people found Lucid, from a viewer perspective, people found Lucid extremely hard to follow and understand. I'm not necessarily saying this is a ROM hack that I'm making at this point. Because they all watch Running Man IMO? Partially. New maps and fights. What makes it difficult to follow? I'm not actually sure. I think the AI is really unintuitive for anybody like watching. ROM hacks take care of it. Well, we'll get there. Also, let me write down Hoenn region at its current state is stale. The worst part is Runabout is Shell's Delicati having a 9.8% chance to live. I don't think that's an issue at all. I think there's ways around that. Accurate documentation. Fair. Most solved gen code wise. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think people understand why it's always Emerald. I 100% agree with that, Capitan. Heart and Soul 2.0 will give us open source Johto, which solves Hoenn problems. That's pretty cool. I think tag encounters are super cool because they break the monotony, but they should probably be tuned on the easier side. That's a very good point, yeah. Having a guaranteed great encounter once you get to a certain point in the game is very good, in my opinion. Ments and EK or Shifu and Runamon, etc. Okay, that's a good point. Guaranteed great encounter. Space Tag is a pretty much perfect fight, TBH. I think Space Tag's pretty dope, yeah. Diversity of Pokemon available. What's up, Explosion Man? Diversity of... I think that goes into encounter pools. But, like, encounter pools, diversity, enjoyability, creativity. Tag encounters are hard because since they use the same AI as the enemies, tag encounters are quicker / easier to solve because your control is so much more limited. Yeah. Big fight should feel complex, I agree. Change the AI to an entirely custom system, not having documentation for it is super cringe. Agreed, 100%. Although, if I ever made a ROM hack, just gonna be straight up with you guys. If I ever made a ROM hack, I would not release the source code immediately. And I would not release AI documentation immediately. I would give people time to try to figure it out, and then I would release it at a later date. But like with the intention to always release it. Because I think that's more fun. Because it encourages people to try to solve something. But it would also have to be intuitive. You know? Like it would have to make sense. Like for example, when I did the Running Man race, one of the things I noticed was like I had a kill on a Pokemon, obviously, and it clicked Aqua Jet, or like whatever move it was. And I was like, oh, that makes sense. Like, obviously, the AI would want to do that. And I didn't have AI document or anything. It just was something that was intuitive and it made sense. But it's like, let's take like Lucid. It's always Lucid that we come back to. Let's take Lucid, for example. I feel like if you did that and the AI clicked, like, okay, here's a good example, right? The AI will I don't know if it still does because Lucid's had some changes, but like the AI sees knockoff as like a beneficial move or something like that. So like, it will use like knockoff guaranteed over like a certain move in like certain situations. But if I was somebody playing it without or without AI documentation, I'd be like, why did they do that? Or something like that, you know? Yeah, positive, negative effects. I think that can make sense with something like Giga Drain, but personally, I like it when ROM hacks include settings for things like Nuzlocke or difficulty levels to make fights harder, though I know programming things like Nuzlocke settings can be complicated. Yeah, I think for sure I agree with you. What's your general opinion on new moves and abilities or changes with current ones? I think it has a time and a place. I think when it comes to like the super difficult Kaizo-like games, though, it's not necessarily enjoyed. Evolution delays with no purpose or dumb and should be removed. What do you mean with no purpose? 'Cause I think they always have a purpose. My only issue with Lucid AI from personal experience is how many times I have to keep opening and confirming the double targeting. Oh god, facts. Permanently removing your held item. I actually really enjoy that. What do you guys think about that? Do you like that knockoff permanently removes your item? Obviously you don't, because when you get knocked off, it feels like shit. But like, I think it's something you have to think about, which is nice. And if you don't like it, why do you not like it? And like, differentiate it from I just don't like losing my item, because that's a skill issue. It's also extremely easy to plan around if AI is consistent about it. What do you mean exactly? Oh, any RNG. Okay, yeah. Facts. Resource management is a W. Resource management is a W. AX giving the player infinite eject puns is super cringe IMO. I agree with that. Another thing I find really cringe, not to dunk on Lucid, dude, you can just there's like a pre-damage menu that you can use in the E4. That is so stupid. I like item theft / removal moves if the player can also utilize it. Well, those things cannot exist at the same time, because if you make this super hard ROM hack, you're going to be utilizing items that are really, really fucking broken. So if you get access to Thief and you can just take an item, that's really broken. I mean, look how broken the Tay and Liza heist is. Oh, really, Oval? Is that today? Hi, Gravy on YouTube. Purchase a knockoff, it shouldn't remove permanently. I think that's a good point. I feel about gauntlets in general. I find them super enjoyable to play. I love gauntlets. I think gauntlets are incredible. Just went online. Let's go. Can I be honest? I love Kindle. I love Run and Bun. I think Run and Bun 1DR E4 is bound to be extremely boring. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he brings something cool, but... Yeah, Jerbsky. I think that's fair. Yeah, I think the heist is really cool. Instead of exact enemy HP, I'd like the ruler to be in the game, but not too precise. Makes it more fun. I think that's fair. That's something to work with. Gauntlets are fun, but they can't be spammed too much in one split. I agree with that for sure. Not bringing anything cool. That sounds right. Heist was cool the first time, not after 20 times. Yeah. I agree with that as well. I never said I'm making a ROM hack. Well, I did in the past. Steering a fight and losing your only choice, man. Skill issue. I mean, there's not much else to say about that other than a skill issue. Run about Game Corner badge scaling doesn't have to be just Game Corner. Could be another gift encounter location. I actually brought this up the other day talking to my brother about Run and Bun and what I like about it. Something I actually don't like about Run and Bun, and this is very, very minor, is I wish the Game Corner encounters just as a whole were encounters that you couldn't get anywhere else. The thing I don't like about the heist is that it's the rich get richer kind of thing. A lot of the time you just can't do it with a Mickey guy like Beer Pool. I also agree with that 100%. I just think as a concept and as a discovery, it is really cool. You can't just say skill issue to someone's actual opinion about something that's frustrating. Yes, I can. That absolutely is a skill issue. Bro, it sucks to get invaded by a Kha'Zix in League of Legends, but skill issue, right? You didn't fucking watch his pathing. There's probably better examples, but it is a skill issue. Like, I think the entirety of the game should be a skill issue. Like, I don't know, if you, like, it's literally saying, like, yeah, it's really frustrating that I messed up and had to pay the price for it. You should change that. Just made a league comparison. I mean, there's probably better comparisons. But, like, basically what you're saying is it's unfair to say that's a skill issue. But literally at its core is, what if you lose your only choice band because it got knocked off when you had to steer a fight? That means you messed up your fight or you messed up your plan. And if it's your only choice band, try to find a way to not lose your choice band. Yeah, I agree with Sudar 100%. I actually haven't played C-Class. What is the wishing well in C-Class? Reward scaling the longer you delay his fire. I agree. I just wish... Okay. I think the more I play Marble Locks and the more I allow you guys to like pick my encounters in Game Corner and stuff, I think there should be more reason to pull early game encounters or early game corner stuff if you feel like you have to. Like, dude, imagine, like, there are situations where Jinx and Electabuzz are actually good and like worth considering, I think. But imagine you get fucking Magmar, which you can find reasonably in other places. Game shouldn't hinge on keeping that choice band for E4 and never letting you use it if it gets knocked off. It doesn't, though. I mean, if you lose your Ishifu, that's pretty fucking bad, too. Specialized would help a lot. I agree. Wishing Well is just full random encounter. Okay. I don't personally like that because it's extremely hard to balance. I mean, Radical Red, you can get Cosmog, right? Pulling Sock / Row. There definitely is, yeah. You give me a comeback mechanics in a Nuzlocke hack that don't make the game easy, or I believe not. Comeback mechanic? What do you mean? Oh, another thing I saw somebody mention before is 1.5x crits. 2x crits are pretty fucking awful to play around. At least in, like, modern Pokemon. With modern Pokemon stats, I think 1x... okay. Stuff like Urshifu with 2x crits is not fair in the slightest. Urshifu's not fair in general. Can't be too long / too many fights. That's one I kind of don't agree with. I think the fights have to have intention, though. 4x crits, true. 2x crits feel manageable, and I think 2x crits have their place in a more simplified game. 80 base power from Gen 4 stat lines. Yeah, exactly. $16x, true. When PJL mentioned Miltank Game Corner encounter for the Battle Family, yeah. I think there should be more reason to pull them early. One of the things I see no one talking about is limiting player choices sometimes. I don't think always letting the player choose necessarily creates a better experience. Choose in what instance? Make crits 1 and 125 and make them one shot. That's fire. 1.5x crits and 1/16 that chance is good. None of the best Pokemon games has that assortment. Yeah, 1.5x crits. Slash 1 in 16 chance. Oh, restructured catching mechanics is a big one. There's no reason under any circumstances, and there's no skill attached to throwing 17 Pokeballs at a level 2 Diggersby or level 2 Bumblebee or whatever it is. There's no reason for that. Starter should never fall off. It should be consistently good. I think it should have different purposes throughout the run, yeah. Catching is one of the main skill expressions besides fights. I don't agree. Because catching, to a certain extent, will always be random. I'm of the opinion that there shouldn't be infinite Master Balls. Penguin's the best one Ventura. That's crazy, bro. Obviously, I think realistically they're all balanced, but I think Penguin is the most useful where it matters. I think permanent Master Balls is bad. I think catch rates should be 100% in certain situations, like when you're getting your first encounters. Another thing is I think you should have to think when catching a Pokemon later in the game. I think in Emerald Kaizo, having to plan and route around the fact that there are Quillfish later in the game that can explode is really interesting and is a skill. But I think catching as a mechanic in Pokemon games, especially older Pokemon games, is very flawed. Enemy speed stat and docks. Like exact speed stat? No, definitely not. Failing EK big on. That's a good point. That'll be the first gym. I don't know how to program that, but it's probably doable. What is a skill that hoping you won't get exploding Mon and just losing Mon? No, like minimizing risk is a skill. Wild Mons can't crit you? I don't think so. Giving the players choices is good, but sometimes it leads to unintended gameplay, which is not good. Resource hoarding. That's an interesting point. It's important to keep some control over what you want the player to do. Also think there's already so many things the player has to be consider and decide over, so you have to be intentional about it. Okay, I think that's a very good thought, like thought-provoking question. It's like how to implement that. I think routing encounters to ensure good catch is a skill expression. The act of throwing the ball and hoping it stays in the concept of a Nuzlocke feels bad. I think you said it perfectly, Akalia, yeah. Early quick balls. I think that is pretty cool too. But then that, like, I think it'll make people save quick balls, which I don't necessarily like. What's your opinion on designing hacks for vibe locking as opposed to calcs? Not my expertise, but I think Renply is a great vibe lock. Different trainer paths for different rewards. That is interesting. That is actually so fucking cool. Because, dude, I'm playing a Fire Emblem ROM hack right now called Onderon Saga. If you're a Fire Emblem person, you probably know of it. There have been multiple points where I have to make like decisions. So there's one where I made a decision and I got a very useful item depending on the decision I made. But if I made the other decision, I got another very useful item. I think that's really cool. But rather than just like making like clicking a dialogue option and getting a different thing, I think it would be like a different path. So like taking this path, you get access to like this encounter table, or like taking this path, you get access to this encounter. I think that'd be very cool. What's up, bearable? Run a vibe block when? Calculus? Yo, what's up, Derp? How's it going, bro? Trainers with interesting gimmicks that are incredibly unique and fun are definitely pretty cool, too. I agree. One that stands out to me is, like, Dexa making a fight with a special attacking focused Marowak is really cool. That is very, very... And it's a really hard fight at that. Membership is cool as fuck. Having a similar thing with other rewards is cool. Yeah, I agree. Technically, something like that exists in Renmon. If you do 2 fights as a back-to-back, you get a candy. Yeah, that's like a very, very, like, simple version of that idea, though. We'd be worth it or else it doesn't matter. Yeah, it has to be balanced for sure. Better switch AI for mid fights. Like, I'm dead, so let me switch this Pokemon faster and out damage this player Mon. The issue with that, Scott, is it gets out of hand very quickly, and it has to be... Okay, here's the thing. If there's randomness to it, it feels unfair. If there's not randomness to it, it feels broken for the player. Physical Mons get access to high power special attacks and have decent special attack. Marowak's special attack's pretty bad, though, is the thing. Right? Something like a Path giving an early Muscle Band, Path B giving an early Wise Lasses. That's pretty fucking sick. As long as you get the other one later. 40, yeah. I think Pokeballs should not compete with other stuff for money. Money in most games is kind of tight early, especially if there are gauntlets. Okay, that's fair. Where am I going with this? With this discussion? I want to make a rom hack. Thoughts about stuff that you can lose on, but it's difficult to do, e.g. Camper Gavi only gives you candy if you're doing pre-museum after. I like that idea. I like that idea. And then after the example is probably bad because it's too early. No, I think that's fair. High power items could be interesting. Yeah. Also, what do you guys think about the idea? Okay, so Run and Bun gives you the choice items, right? You get to switch them out. Do you like the idea that you can switch out? Let's just like remove the heist from the example, right? So like, let's pretend the heist doesn't exist. You can only get one choice item at a time, or like leftovers and assault vest. Do you like being able to trade them out more? Or do you like picking one of them? Pre-plan the entire game backwards. Okay, that's a good point. That's a good point. Some memes and dreams. Scanner mechanics are sick. I agree with that. I think I like the scanner mechanics, but I wanted to hear other people's thoughts. Do you mean that you're stuck with it? Yeah. Third option, you get a random one. Yo, wait, true. A random one actually does kind of fix the issue of like pre-planning the game backwards, right? The issue is Scarf is just better. Okay, the other thing is you could just remove Scarf and make it a 50-50 between choice band and choice specs because they're effectively the same thing. These are ideas. Just ideas, you know. What's up, Ben? I forgot a spin cycle from GG. True. Poke Raid. Okay, yeah. Guaranteed great encounter match the choice item. I think it would be separate. Limited amount of scanner switches. That sounds dope for long-term plans. That could be pretty cool. You'd kind of have to plan the entire game around it, though. What if the old man gave you Urshifu only if you did some optional colors for such battles that are really hard? Probably require a lot of sacrifices. The thing is, you kind of do that with Tate and Liza's gym. Make them a 1x trade each. You choose your first, you can trade, but then... Well, I don't even know what I would do, personally, if I were to do something like that. Pokeathlon. Wait, true. No, well, wait. Poke Radar? The Poke Radar I'm thinking of is the... I'm thinking of the Devon Radar. The one where you get the roamers. It's got a real character. Okay, I mean, I could. Voltorb Flip. Okay, multiple people have said Voltorb Flip. What about Voltorb Flip for purpose? Need gambling. Candy behind Voltorb Flip. That would legit be fun. Some real gambling? Yeah, true. Voltorb Flip for early access to powerful TMs. But they can't be too powerful. Why Hoenn again? Well, the reason that Hoenn is the focus of most like ROM hacks like this is because Emerald Expansion and Hoenn and Emerald in general is the most advanced type of like ROM hacking for Pokemon games. There's the most you can do. It's just like the most technologically advanced. Yo, what's up, Silmar? Renamon Safari Zone having 100% catch is so fucking nice also. Yeah, I agree with that. Voltorb Flip for shinies? That is fucking awesome. That is kind of terrifying looking. No Come White too? I never said that. If you want to be content pilled, I feel like Lumberry spam on enemy trainers feels kind of lame and there are cooler item choices in a lot of situations. Okay, I agree, and I was thinking about that a lot. The thing that Lumberry like spam prevents is like cheesing enemies. So like status, I mean, if you've watched any competitive Pokemon or played competitive Pokemon, you know how broken status is. So a fight can be completely flipped by hitting a 75 accurate sleep powder. I think Lumberries kind of is a necessary thing. Dire Claw is a great example. What's up, Jabin? You're right. More White Herb's accessible. I think stuff like that is really cool because White Herb is a very fun item to use. Utility Umbrella? I don't know. Sleep is extremely broken, for example. And also, there aren't that many Pokemon items. And I don't want it to be like Lucid, where every single fight has a fucking covert cloak. Could ban sleep moves? Nah, because I think sleep's a part of the game, you know? And certain Pokemon are sleep Pokemon. Butterfree, Vivian, right? More Pokemon specific items. Well, that requires a lot of extra work, like making sprites for these items, etc. Which isn't necessarily bad, but is that something that needs to be in a game like this, right? Freezing the special burn. That's something I would go back and forth on. Completely new moves? Kind of. Depends. As long as they're interesting. Sleep Claws. I don't like a Sleep Claws. Tag battles? I think tag battles are cool if they're kind of like tough to design, I think, but they're cool. No EVs, that's on there, don't worry. Why bother going through a Lum? The other day I used my Lantern on a Kingdra with Lumberry to I Thunderwaved it twice. It exists. Snow is a better weather than hail. It's like we fun to implement. That's true. The thing about rotation battles in Gen 5, I don't know if there are rotation battles in Emerald expansion. If I had to guess, no. More casual experience. I also saw somebody mention like an all shiny mode. I think that takes away from the fact that people might want to do like shiny unlocks and stuff. Well, I guess not. You can still find shinies in the regular mode. Could be an idea. Fog weather. I actually think it's cool. As long as you get tools to play around it. Poison halves healing sources. That's pretty cool. Develop triples. Okay, that's cool. I think I was talking about this the other day. I think Run and Bun genuinely does accuracy perfectly. At least mostly, right? Custom AI is interesting. I think Run and Bun's AI is very good, though. Unbuffed Castform should have weather control. The problem is you have precision to click the weather move. Weather gets... I mean, the issue is, like, the game designer is planning fights entirely around weather, so if the weather goes down, then the fight's just over, basically. Permanent fog, but it only affects your accuracy. That would be fucking sick, actually. Non-single/double battle formats, triple rotation, etc. Maybe as a way to get optional stuff would be custom AI. If it's doable, then I think triple battles could be very interesting. Pokemon Rom Hack, Pokemon stats being changed in Rom Hacks, so I hope you can avoid that. I think there's a time and place, like with different Rom Hacks that do that. But as far as a game like this, I think, or like the game that I have in my head, like I don't think it's the right place. I agree, Jabin, yeah. Focus Band, Anger Shell, Stealth Rock, Cloth would be cool. That is pretty brutal. Hard Caps is really zero reason to have a level 100 E4 late game level jumps for the sake of them. It's just tedious leveling 45 plus guys. I think level 100 is... I think having a level 100 E4 is exciting, personally. The E4 run thing, but for the gym leaders, just choose between single and double battles, but it has to be 4-4 split. That's cool, actually. That's interesting. Switch AI, don't like it. daycare exclusive move gatekeep by amount of battles done while in daycare. Oh, wow. That's very interesting to think about. 4 and 4. That's pretty cool, Andes. It's actually really cool. Better overruled puzzles. Like uncomfortable placed heart scales as in run above 114. Run above 114? What's on 114? I like overruled puzzles, though. Risk management's also a skill. Agreed. Agreed. Magma armor, fire, water bubble. Wait. That's pretty interesting, actually. Shed shell tag battle. Oh! I see what you're saying. Because you do them once? I think they're fun, though. I think gauntlets are great, yeah. Like the Dust Lodge puzzle. That's fair. Battle Tower for rewards. Always wanted them to game an early ice route. I feel like they're always locked to the last quarter. That's a good point, actually, MC. Otherwise, awful Pokemon setup. Like, setup gets so out of hand. Ice Room, that's true. But there's no trainers in there. Character space for nicknames? True. Still allows him. Yeah, it's tough. I mean, like, Druddigon gets no use, but gets home claws. I think stuff like Rapid Spin is cool, though. In Emerald Imperium, you can disable them in gauntlets if you want. Yeah, that's true. Also, Crengio. I had an idea with that. Some others being cool. Yeah, I think that would be pretty fun. A mom that cares. No, because then we end up with the heart gold mom who calls you too much. What's up, dude, Jay? That's a good point, Stuff Knight, yeah. I think if they're interesting, and you don't have to do them more than once. She's cool? Okay, my bad, my bad. The mom must not care. Mom that does not care. Amon dies. Holy shit. I think Wing Attack and Aerial Ace being basically the same thing, but Aerial Ace is just directly better is so weird. And Wing Attack having a niche outside of that would be interesting. PP management might be interesting in gauntlets. Yeah, I think so too. 80 base power Wing Attack is pretty common change. That is cool, yeah. No, for real, Rasputin. 10% to flinch. +1 priority. I think I wouldn't want to personally change a ton of stuff about the core mechanics of like moves in Pokemon, but I think a move like Wing Attack that literally is a directly worse version of another move with the same base power is really lame. Inverse battles? I don't really love inverse battles. Also, inverse battles end up being really easy most of the time. Spit that version of Rock Smash. Ooh, interesting. 9% accurate moves, 100 accuracy. I think stuff like Rock Slides and Headbutt, Rock Tomb, like Rock Throw being 100 accuracy is kind of a necessity. Power Up Punch is crazy. That's interesting, Explosion. I just found in the overworld. I feel like that's an entirely different type of rum hack you'd want to do. Regional mons? Yeah, I think for sure. Just the moves like Drake Meteor and Overheat that should be 100% accurate because they have a drawback. Yeah, I think that's a fair point. Like, Overheat having the drawback and not being 100 accuracy is pretty weird. Calculus section where your official calculator is empty. Tended to just vibes it. Could be personally easier than other battles. I guess there's no way to enforce it though. Yeah, I don't think there's a way to enforce that. How long is this list? Not super long. For Glade Frostlass. Yeah, that one is pretty fucking whack, I can't lie. Or like Porygon-Z. Familiar. I'm not that talented, Dripski. I agree. Early game metronome trainer is based. It's crazy, Snom, yeah. Perma or Perma area is absolutely essential for like a difficulty rum hack like this. What about rock types a bit more? And debating making rock have a passive immunity to flinch. Thoughts? That's actually a really cool change. Like, I personally wouldn't do that in like a rum hack. But I think that makes sense and it's cool. Like, that just objectively makes sense. What do you think about Hellum durability or preset limited uses? For a game like this, I don't think so. But I think it's interesting. I like the way Fire Emblem does that. Battle that gives different increasing rewards for efficiency. These turns spent. That'd be cool. Pitch out with echoed voice. You know what's funny? I have worked on a rum hack in the past and had that exact thing. Favorite gen? Gen 3. There's a specific theme instead of a type. That's an absolute must, I think. Gen 10 leaks? No. No leaks in chat. I don't want to talk about leaks in chat until they're revealed because some people might want to not see them. But I've heard about them. Gen 3 games are fundamentally whack, unfortunately, because Weather Ball is so fucked in the game when the AI uses them. Vanilla, yeah. Missing the one resistance, you were 100% going to lose Mon. Yeah, that's pretty lame. I agree. What's up, Aiden? Unbound is a gym with trick room for weight. Yeah, it does. That's cool. How complicated is programming your own AI? I mean, there's a lot of work that goes into it. One-time resources. I think one-time resources is cool. Trick room, but for height. They might be so slow. Or fast. Fast. Like Giovanni and Bruno had big boys and Agatha had super. Yeah, the thing about like Watson being an electric gym leader with like only electric types that can't really utilize other stuff. I guess Watson's a bad example because he's hard in vanilla. But like Roxanne, right? Her team's all rocks. I think having a Bisharp and a Zygarde in there is pretty cool. Early game Dwebble because he's sick. I do like Dwebble. Plan on making a game? I do. Not necessarily Sharks. I just think it would be more balanced. Like, there's no reason to throw 17 Pokeballs at a wild level 2 Bunnelby, right? Mostly monotype. I think it has to be thematic. Let me show a thing real quick. I've done like ROM hack work in the past. Let me find a ban on Twitch. And I've done trainer designing. But I also don't like insta-catching like late game stuff, I personally. Yeah, like Lopunny and Poliwhirl and Brawly makes sense. Yeah, exactly. Oh wait, I don't have to do this. I can do it this way. 1 second. Here's a good example of, hi Rosie, of what I mean. So I designed a bug. It was a, how do I designed a bug catcher trainer. And I guess it's too big. None of these are bug types, but they all fit the bug theme, which I think is like a perfect example, right? So like Slurpuff is the biggest reach because it isn't actually like a bug or anything, but it gets sticky web. With bait, yeah, exactly. They're all bug adjacent, and there's one more Pokemon on this team that I didn't want to show for reasons, but Slurpuff being that it gets sticky webs, Kabutops, Horseshoe Crab. Kabuto is based on a horseshoe crab. Horseshoe crabs are more closely related to spiders and scorpions. Gliscor is a scorpion, although a very extreme version of one that flies and isn't a bug type. Gudra Hisui is a snail, and then Phalanx is obviously like little bug guys, right? I can shoot sticky webs too, but am I a bug? Yes. Mega Flygon? God, I wish. How is a snail a bug? Is a snail a bug? No, it's a mollusk. Well, if you asked somebody if a snail was a bug, then like, it's adjacent. I think it's like obviously adjacent in like, you know, it's like, it's that type of thing. It's like a creepy crawly little fella. None are bugs. Yeah, yeah. No, it's not. All right, Bill Nye. My bad, I guess. I don't know what to tell you. If somebody saw a snail and they were like, oh, it's a bug, I'd be like, yep. I don't know, I had Bill Nye, the fucking science guy in my chat. No, it's okay. I know it's not literally a bug or anything, but I think snails and slugs often get categorized in with bugs in a lot of different contexts. Shelmet is a great example. I kind of am interested by that idea of Ventrua, but I think I like Grass, Water, Fire more. Because that's what people know. But you see what I mean, though, with like the idea that the trainer is themed? It's a TGN. I'm good. That the trainer's themed. So, like, while Roxanne's a rock-type gym leader... Dude, there's a perfect fucking example. Okay, full transparency, I worked on a ROM hack mostly casually last year, and I designed a lot of teams, and I did a lot of like work on like a map and stuff like that. I have a decent amount. Honestly, I would say I have a lot of progress made on it, but it's always just for fun, and I never really knew I was going to release it or anything like that, but I want to. And I designed a Roxanne team. I don't want to leak anything, because I want it to like be a surprise, but God, here's just another example of how Lucid is such a shit fucking game, though. How do I do this? I'll do it this way. So, Guitarist Kirk. Dude, Guitarist Kirk will be a banger. He's gonna have a sniper intellion. So, Lucid, Gen 9 Rom Hack. The Roxanne fight is one of the least inspired fights I've ever done in any Rom Hack. Genuine, on God. But, like, it's so weird to me that, like, I'm pretty sure it's Roxanne's ace is a Tinka Tough. It's the middle one, which isn't a rock type, but isn't exactly rock type adjacent either. It's like I guess Bisharp's also not, but I feel like, personally, thematically, the ace should be very on theme, right? Rock Ground Steel's adjacent. Yeah, I do agree with that, but I think the ace should be a very thematic to the trainer. And Roxanne's obviously a rock trainer. So what, is her ace like Soul Rock or whatever? I don't know what technically counts as her ace. But I'm pretty sure the Lucid team is Drillbur, Dwebble, Kabuto, Cloth, Tinkatov, and I don't remember the last one. Tyrant. But my point with this is, okay, if you're gonna give Roxanne, don't mind me, I'll do it in my Rom Hack. If you're gonna give Roxanne an ace that is on a rock gym leader and make it rock adjacent, this guy's right fucking here, bro. This guy is right here. Like, this is right there. It was screaming at you. Like, this would be so much more creative, fun to plan around, and, like, less one-dimensional than just a Tinkatuff with Swords Dance at the first gym.
Squirking my shit right now.
Yo, Linfield, thank you for the Prime. I appreciate it. Enjoy the emote sub badge after viewing. Loses the Togi straight up. This probably would too. School theme. That's actually really cool. I mean, one of Lucid's many issues is that the only starter you get is Togedemaru, so the game has to be balanced around Togedemaru. Good morning, Bella. The early game has to be balanced around one starter, so. Dual types will fix a bunch of stuff. I'm doing a ROM hack myself, and I learned dual types help a lot with gym leaders. Yeah, I think so, too. Range catching strays. I think anything like that, I think Rain's cool, and I'm glad that we have a ROM hack like Lucid for people to enjoy, right? I just think a lot of the design choices suck, personally. Oh, you're saying that, Snom. I don't know, bruh. Maybe. Is it least unique? Well, yeah, I would say that. A lot of things are unique. Unique doesn't mean good, though. Let's go, Furox. Elite Redux Special. I want to play that game, like, casually. Maybe I'll do some kind of content on it. Yeah, I mean, if you like Lucid, I get it. Like, I understand why you would like it. Fossil Pokemon are pretty dope. What's up, Light? Beats grass. Yup, exactly, Jerbski. I'm not gonna lie. I think the best part about Run and Bun is the creativity. I think it's the most creatively designed. It has the most creatively designed fights that I've seen. So many examples. And I've taken a lot of inspiration from it in the idea that I want to make a ROM hack that's that creative, that fun, that much skill expression, that much creativity from the player. So I want to do that because I think I can design some really in interesting fights and stuff. Different each run. I think that's more interesting. Like, the thing about Togedemaru, like, I love Togedemaru, don't get me wrong. Togedemaru is a really, really great Pokemon. One of my favorite at this point. But it's not exactly a very fun Pokemon to use. Like, it's just fake out, spiky shield, pivot, fake out, spiky shield, iron barbs, pivot, fake out. Better or worse? I think it'd be worse. I always wish gym badges boosted BST of available encounters so you can delay a grass and come back to get something. Ooh, that's actually really interesting. Had the idea of needing to get a specific Pokemon for a gym that makes it butt cheeks easy. I think team building is much more fun than getting lucky that you found the one mon with low encounter rate that makes it fight easy. I agree, but I don't think there's that many examples of that in Run and Bun. I guess the best examples are like Beedrill and Winona with Beedrill with Winona and Taint Liza. But that stuff's also way harder to balance because I honestly don't know how Dexa did it. I wish I knew what Dexa did when he was designing a lot of these fights. Okay. Full transparency. What, not talking about AI, ask him. I mean, I could. I also just don't want to bother him about Run and Bun stuff, though, you know? Like, Dex is a real dude with a real life. What's up, Andrew? A line of coke. True. I have a full first split of an Emerald Rom Hack completed. I have it like done other than AI. All the trainers planned out, all the encounters planned out. That would probably change. But what I did is I took every single encounter for the first gym leader and I tried to find the way I decided the encounters was find ways to make them useful on the first gym leader in an interesting way, and the second gym leader. A lot of doubles, yeah, but like only a reasonable amount. And so whenever that's true, I also just don't want to bother him, you know. I always enjoy Romax that borrow some ideas or inspiration from roguelikes, but without changing them. I love roguelikes, so I agree. Make a fighting game which is completely randomized. I think the less random elements and stuff like that, the better. Yeah, true, Star Master. I mean, I've played a lot of ROM hacks, so I know what I like. And my idea with making a ROM hack would be to make something that I could put an insane amount of time into and love. Hell items tied to them. Interesting idea, actually. How do I feel about tag battles? I love tag battles as long as they're balanced well. And I think the 2 in Run and Bun are. Instant truck went death. That's actually funny. Should always make content for yourself first and foremost. I agree. Like back-to-backs, I do. I love them. I think so, Snom. I think there's like definitely elements of it for sure. HD visible toes. That's definitely in there. Meowscarada some love. The thing about Meowscarada is that thing is fucking strong. I do wonder how good it would be without Protean, though. Even Pyre Tag. Yeah, I think Pyre Tag is really balanced. Probably a bit less than Space Tag, but one-time TMs. I think one-time use TMs is generally good. On Glacia. We can continue to talk about this.
No, we're good. We're good. Okay.
Is this
I couldn't remember
riskless?
if it did their slot 2 or my slot 2 first. It's my slot 2, so we're good. All right.
Yeah, Meowscarada was really broken in Emerald Imperium when I used it.
So yeah, the only thing that Luna doesn't fast kill is Curum, so that's coming out on the right.
Parasong's dope.
And And the only thing that Urshifu
I
doesn't
also
kill
love
is
roguelikes. Some of my favorite types of
Calyrex.
games.
That's coming out on the left.
That's why I'm blocking Kindle. Sorry.
Horse time. Calyrex has 2 abilities.
How do I do this? It's
I don't care about either of them. The reason that I had to do that, I couldn't just like stay in and hit Shifu, or hit the Calyrex. Not Calyrex.
That's fine.
Abominable. The reason that I couldn't do that and just lead with Shifu is because level 99.
Yeah, I'm
Shifu
super
is a
burned out of playing
ranged
Running, to be
kill with
honest.
Black belt close combat on the board.
one of the route of 50-50 on champion.
So
He
I tried
did
to
say
do
that. I
it,
remember.
it couldn't be Life Orb because
True, actually,
I would
sponsored.
want
That's a good
the
point.
Killing myself to the damage from the side EQ. So I had
The
to run a
pledge
choice
moves.
band,
There's one in Radical Red, I think.
which meant I had to burn my eject back here.
Trainer
Kinda
having
sucks
4 random
because
Pokemon
it
of a pull of
means
6.
That,
And a different ROM hack, I think.
A certain god of the
Kindle's
sea
nicknames
becomes
are
more
so good,
scary
bro.
later, but we'll worry about that later. Alright.
Challenge mode could be fun. The thing is, that's like
Fire Punch,
designing
this
2
guy.
entirely different things. Like, you have to
this
do a
guy.
lot more work.
3!
1 DR is 1 death means he
And free.
resets. And he's on the E4. Is Discord or Gmail better for business questions? Gmail. I don't accept Discord DM or accept Discord like friend requests really.
Alright.
I don't vibe with riskless
I'm
E4.
glad I got to
I
do
don't
this on a
either.
real run. I was gonna do the same shit on my original E4 before shenanigans occurred.
No Cleavor for Calyrex? Question mark. 90% content? Yeah, true.
No Cleavor for Calyrex? Cleavor's cheering from the sidelines, dude.
Noivern!
Okay.
Let's go.
So the Drake team. Wasn't I the person who found out I could just do it with Shifu and not... I don't remember if that was known beforehand. I remember figuring it out on my own. I don't remember seeing it done.
I hope...
beforehand.
Okay.
Only Joe had done it.
I
before.
hope.
So.
And knowing Kindle, he would do this.
Anyway.
Kindle would have a riskless champion and then
Flynn.
explode. He doesn't have an exploded mon, though. But, like, he's the type of person to do that. Like, get all the way to the end and then explode his Pokemon on, like, the last mon.
Wyvern,
You know what I'm
Sceptile,
saying?
Shifu, Luna. Okay, cool.
Nah, Kindle would be the third person to beat 1DR. The second person to beat it without, like,
So,
a
if you can
13
even
mon
believe
guy
it.
pack.
Prim's keeping the AV. Gali is getting black glasses. Noivern is getting choice specs.
Packless 1DR. Yeah. I don't think a pack really makes it...
Sceptile's getting
That much,
a
like-
Yachi Berry.
I don't know, like... Once you get to a certain point, it's super extremely difficult anyway, and you're risking shit. As being done. Yeah, like,
Shifu's getting a Rocky
people
helmet.
always ask me if it was possible, and it's like, yeah, obviously it's possible. It's just, like, not really worth trying, but I didn't
And
realize it
Luna's
would be
getting a
this...
Chilling Berry.
Not easy, because it's not easy, but, like, this doable. That's true, he does have unlimited choice.
Okay.
That's a good point.
Where's the PP at here? You're good.
All the fights nowadays, yeah, absolutely. It's come quite far.
I think I'd prefer.
Do you know how he got
to
that?
top you off?
There's a glitch in Run and Bun where if you like, it's one or the other. If you trade leftovers for choice specs or whatever, or like vice versa, it duplicates them. So it's in the game. Some people literally know what mods is the best for Joe on Route 911. No, literally.
I'll top
Joe
you.
on 911's a demon though. Yeah, exactly. Sponsored. I'm glad Sceptile made the cut.
Oh, Giratina. Oh, I was wondering why it was 3. Giratina had pressure even though I didn't target it. Okay.
When you're raw yet? Yes, this would be the
Shifu- okay,
second.
so
The first was
Shifu
Frank
HP is
Josh.
a little relevant. It needs to be between 204 and 213. Also, I should probably give it its CCs back.
Should be disallowed? No, it's a bug. It's in the game. I mean, who am I to say what is and what isn't allowed in the self-imposed challenge, you know? Also brought Gecko? Yeah.
Okay, and then Ursaluna can just be at full.
Yeah, that's true, Barrel. It's not a bug, it's a feature. Facts.
And Sceptile needs to be down at 177.
It's like, yeah, there are bugs in Runnemon that we, like the Golisopod double exit's a bug, right? So where do you draw the line, right? Which is why I think just letting people do what they want to do is better for stuff like this.
Yeah, close enough.
At the end of the day, it's a self-imposed challenge, and I think you should decide what you do and don't want to like do in your run, you know? No, that's something else. Not, like, you can duplicate choice items, or like the scanner items, basically.
The Hyper Potion on you.
And then gatekeep the winner sheet. True!
So, Prim at full HP, Gali at full HP. We're keeping the Toxic.
Okay, I actually had a question. And this is a difficult question to ask.
That's all good.
Stands on GMO starters? Go for it. I use GMO starters.
Shifu at 207 is fine. Ursaluna
So, you know how, like,
is fine.
people have, like, physical cartridges of, like,
then
ROM
I just
hacks?
need to
Like, that's a thing that people can do. I want one really bad. I want a run and bun one really badly. But I don't know how to do it, and the issue is I would have to get somebody to do it for me.
AV,
But
your PP is fine.
it's illegal to purchase and sell them.
Glasses, full health, free toxic.
So
your
I
PP
want,
is
but I want
excellent.
one so bad. But like, I don't want to buy one because it's illegal.
Immaculate
GMO starters
PP.
just means like, what's a Lin? It just means,
Those are fine.
like
Yachiberry
safe stating a
Sceptile,
starter that has like
177.
really,
You
really
got the moves
cracked
that you
IVs.
need. Rocky Helmet Shifu,
Hard way to do it.
207.
I would
fine.
love one. Actually, I would
Ursaluna
love to
would
have
be
one.
Challenge Berry.
Has to give it to me.
At full health.
Would it be legal? I don't. Okay, what are the legal ramifications or like the legality behind somebody giving me a cartridge of like a physical cartridge of Run and Bun, and then
So
me
you will,
separately donating to them?
Obviously, Phoebe was
on
riskless.
Twitch.
Obviously, Glacier was riskless.
Safe rules works in Run and Bun. What do you mean safe rules?
What do you call him? Sydney. Sydney could have gotten a little weird if I wasn't able to get the spikes off, but eventually I did, and from there it was fine. Drake is like, I don't know if it's
Illegal.
risky per se, but depending on how turn one goes,
The full cartridges are illegal. You just can't just
we could
illegally
go down
load
a path
files.
that I didn't
Well,
plan
I
for
think
all,
you can
so-
do that. You just can't sell them.
So we'll see if that happens.
Like there's no, they don't really have like jurisdiction over your own property at that point, right? As long as there's not anything illegal on that
good.
property, right? You just can't sell them and monetize off it.
Shilon, Rocky, Yachi, Specs.
Because here's the issue, right? I really want somebody to do that for me because I'm not smart enough. But I don't want them to do it for free because I would want to pay them for their work, but paying them for their work's illegal. So I'm at, you see the dilemma?
Read it again, Ark, and then reflect on what that says about you.
Use crypto.
Okay,
I don't really have any
so
crypto.
Dragapult is in.
But also the thing is like if I bought one, nobody would find out. But also like I don't know, I'd rather not take the chance.
Basically, so here's the deal. AV,
Pay for the
only gets
materials.
Steel Wing out of this guy.
I would do that. I mean, I'd pay for the materials. At that point, it's not illegal,
If I
right?
crit the Draining Kiss, I might kill it too early. That's basically the deal.
I suspect that you're not really going to get in trouble
if I
off one
crit, then
commission.
it could
You're
get
right.
basically-
I just don't want to take any
that's
chances, you know?
just what I'm working with. So, preferably don't crit.
Probably. I'm not sure.
I'm just gonna Draining Kiss. It'll get me
Still
back
is
to
illegal?
full, like, close to it,
How?
unless it crits me. So we'll see. Defense boost is fine here too as well.
You know some Hawk Tua coin? No, I recently lost all my finances on Hawk Tua coin. Oh. Okay. Well, hey, if at any point anybody has the capacity... Wait, what? What just happened?
We're so good, dude. We're so good. We're so good.
What happened?
All right. So.
I saw you're a big
It's gonna
Preds
click Steel Wing
fan. Do
again
you
here.
say if you're
That's
in
fine,
tonight?
Because now I can go into Gali as.
Wait, what do you mean? What's up,
I was gonna
Coruscant?
kill this guy with Sucker Punch anyway.
Buy them dinner for the favor, but
Going to
paying
Gali.
cash to the... Oh. He crit? Oh.
And then the Life Orb is gonna kill itself. I think. Yeah. No, this is fine. All right.
Hey, well, if anybody
So Reshiram is going to come in for blue flare kill.
wants to do that at any point, has the capacity to make that. Oh, I'm not in Tennessee.
Nah,
No,
safety.
I'm
like,
not.
Noivern comes to boss fights.
Oh,
and nothing
in
else.
Tennessee.
It's like
Sorry,
the greatest
I'm so
Pokemon of
stupid.
all time.
I'm not in Tennessee.
Okay.
I live in Virginia.
So, blue flare out of the Reshiram.
If anybody wants to do that at any point, that would be fucking awesome.
You know what that means. Like, come on. I don't have to say it.
I mean, I have a cartridge. I have an Emerald cartridge. I don't know how it works, but
If it burns,
I have multiple.
I have to Draining Kiss once because like the chance of burn is too high. Yeah. So I'm going to Draining Kiss because if I burn, then I don't maybe get the necessary chip. I think. Yeah, it doesn't do it. Okay. So I'm Draining Kiss once.
also follow
These are
Kindle,
worth
by the way,
it.
if you're not. Kindle's the goat.
This doesn't really heal a lot because it's
Nothing else
it's a
counters
fucking
it? That's
Reshiram,
true.
But, like, it should be enough.
I just think it'd be so cool to have like a physical cartridge
Especially
of
because I don't think Primarina has to do anything.
a game that has
So
done
now
so
I'm
much
going
for me,
to-
even though it's like modified. What is this channel? Kindle costs.
How many rolls of DKs did? It was like half of rolls. I think that min rolled the crit.
Go follow Kindle. Kindle's the goat.
I think that literally min rolled the crit. It was like half of crit rolls killed it. Which is why I was okay with sending.
This is the second win.
Anyway,
Second.
Get the slow flip turn. I'm now screaming.
Cards becomes involved. Yeah. But like,
Specs
not
Noivern, way
monetizing off of
faster.
it is
Sega Knight Ace.
fine.
Now, Noivern is faster than everything. So it's going to go for the first slow kill.
First was
which
Frank
is
Josh.
Not Zygarde Dragonflaw. That does 88 on the max. It's going to go into
Most legal way to do it. Can anyone in chat do it?
And Suicune
What's the most
is
legal way to do
prevented
it?
From clicking any of its bullshit because it always sees an Ice Beam kill. I can't U-turn because I'm locked
What's up,
in.
Playboy Slice? W
Fine.
chat.
Time to go just hard Sceptile.
Interesting. Okay.
I'm pretty toxic to play around the freeze possibility, and I have a Yachi Berry, which means that regardless of what Suicune does here on this Ice Beam, I will always
This is your first
both
chat?
in
Sure, yeah. Welcome in.
Overgrow and also live.
Flash out on Amazon. I see. How many
You
crits
tried
are there
it.
in this fight?
You fucking tried it, Drake. Too bad. In Overgrow, I'm faster. I'm gonna live the next turn as well.
Wait, true sponsor. True.
Detonate this guy.
Then load ROMs onto the cartridge with the adapter. Super illegal. That sounds very illegal.
All right. Sceptile is also faster than everything.
Is there a legal way to do this?
So it's going to go. I told you we were good. It's going to go into Crawdaunt for random move. Random move is completely fine for a guy like Shifu.
Well, they exist, so like surely there's a way to do it. But
All good.
how many crits is he gonna take?
What's going on? All right. Rocky Helmet breaks that focus sash. And Shifu.
Yeah, what is
I mean,
happening?
I guess because I got crit, it's always just going to bait Zygarde anyway, but you know, I'll click this shit anyway. CC, kill Mr. Craw.
I'm impressed on it. They'd be very likely to fail in the Cortaloff
And now it's
bot.
time for Zygarde. I was pre-damaged so that the CC drops would mean that it would
Okay.
always see a fast kill.
Noted. I just want to
But
teach you.
Drake's just doing me a
True.
solid, and I didn't
But if
even
the
do
action is illegal, maybe I'm just a bitch. Am I a bitch?
All right. Zygarde has hit the field, which means don't fucking. Oh my god, my keyboard didn't hit down. Oh my god. We're fine. Nothing happened. Nothing happened. You didn't see a fucking thing. We're gonna go straight into Ursaluna. Ursaluna. eats
Crawdaunt
these
Drake is still a
moves
stretch.
like
Against D-Dance.
champ. Dragonclaw is better here.
What
Okay.
the hell? He got crit
I
again.
will say, if I get double crit, I have to dodge a crit. So Drake,
No, like this
Bubby.
crit rate is crazy.
my boy,
How many turns? He's been crit more than he hasn't been crit.
you know you don't want to do it a fourth time, right? Like you know you don't want to crit me a fourth time.
There's so many crits. I don't know.
You know that. I know you.
Say Drake. I hear like I'm young.
We're all good here.
Pay someone to teach me how to make one. Yeah, I probably should do that.
All right.
That did nothing.
All right. Okay. All chill. All chill. All chill. Zygarde down. All that's left is Mega Ments. And as previously seen in the Nuzzies and other locations, base Salamence does not have Air Relay
I see.
yet, so it sees Frustration or Return or whatever the fuck this move is called. It sees it as a normal
Nothing's
type,
illegal if no one's
which
willing to
means
prosecute.
Shalon Berry
That is
effect
true.
baiting. Ice
The
Punch
thing is, like,
sees
I just would
after
rather not
the
take any chances. But, like,
Intimidate still shows kill
surely it's
to
fine,
base
right?
form Ments, so it's never going to Dragon Dance.
you think people will few families or people go back to run and mud?
Return kill,
I think people will play PK for a while.
Damaging, nothing like that.
But,
Guaranteed to be Earthquake.
I also think there's a very real possibility that Platinum Kaiser is just worse than... Like, our expectations are too high, you know?
And
True, Rasputout, true.
the truth, the best dragon in the game, comes in for free, outspeeds base 120 Salamence.
Chansey bad encounter? Why wouldn't you take it? Facts.
Bang!
Yeah, Venture, that's fair. I think I'll really like Platinum Kaizo. Because I like Tedium, and I like Kaizo games. Platinum Kaizo will be just Gen 4. Wait, true, Bearable. That's fire.
So
Claydol?
the degree of LeBronism that Drake just pulled off.
Okay, hear me out. Claydol on an Earthquake, cuss that berry, skill swap, that Mence.
J.R. Smith here, okay? Like, super badly.
That wouldn't work, never mind. I forgot it turns into a normal move, not a ground move.
The odds of losing to Drake were pretty fiction. The odds of losing to Wallace are kind of real.
But still, that could work if you're on something that has like a healing move. Corviknight? You skill swap into Corviknight? I don't know anything about it, sponsored.
I think that's fine. I think that's fine. I was going to heal the poison anyway, but I wanted to be a little bit lower. I think that's fine. I'll just be like 8 points lower.
That's true, Jerbsky. Hey, if anybody is able to help me with any... Help me purchase a copy of Pokemon Emerald.
So I got to put this guy at 81.
Let me know. Feel free to send me an email.
I wanted to be at 89.
Wait, you're right, memes. That's a good point. I was cooking too hard.
81. Good.
Flyer to Ghost type, yeah, true.
Golly needs to...
There's a way to do it, I just fucking overcooked it.
Yeah.
Telling people to leave a paper trail. No, that's chill.
16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 192? 192. Okay. Everybody else can go to full.
So Ironmon is that way,
at
true.
full. Shifu.
Most
at
streamers were just
full.
talking about how they really, really want one and then leave a P.O. box or freaking someone for a future video. I closed my P.O. box. Sadly. Here's my address, though. No, I'm kidding.
Luna at full.
Modifications. Fair. I mean, I have a copy of Emerald somewhere.
Okay.
Does it have to be like a... No,
so
wait, that wouldn't make
status.
sense. I don't know how it works.
I'm just going to heal everything.
Low Kirk genuinely, I agree.
I haven't clicked Moonblast. Heal the Draining Kiss. Heal Flip.
Oh,
the
also,
only
speaking
one
of Rom Hack
suffer-
stuff, what do you guys think
Look at
about
that.
Wallace being the champion instead of Steven? I personally don't like it.
Heal your Dracos. Lepaberry. Heal the Leaf Storm.
Kind of cringe. Filled with cash, true. I think
Heal
Steven's cooler.
The, CCs.
It's Emerald, right? Yeah, I mean, I know
think that's
Wallace is the
true.
champion in Emerald, but it would be an easy change.
Okay. AV Prim. Here, let me get these guys in the right order, actually. So you're gonna go there. Golly second. Sceptile third. And then that. Okay. So Noivern
I think that's pretty cool too, Barrow.
Noivern needs a choice band.
What is it clicking?
Golly needs one too.
Better fight by far. That's fair.
Sceptile needs a Scarf.
Urshifu beats him up too bad, probably. That's a decent point.
Primarina keeps its AV. Luna gets a Scarf. And Shifu gets a choice. No, I'm kidding. It's getting.
Turn and skill attack on it. What's it clicking?
Okay.
Everyone gets.
All right. So, you here, and then you, and then you. Okay.
Steven Primal Groudon fighter, Wallace Primal Kyogre fighter. That's pretty sick,
Oh.
actually. The idea of that. Like both of them.
Banded Noivern, bro.
I was clicking dual wing beat, probably.
Banded Golly at 192. Scarfed Sceptile. Full PP.
New thought hit me and I haven't let it simmer yet. Opinion on an ability for something like Archeops or Regigigas that is just Mon cannot switch out on its own volition. That's pretty funny.
Scarf Luna.
12 on back-to-back with Steven and Wallace. Good luck. No, that would be fucking demon.
All right.
Six feet 12.
Win or lose.
I feel like
This is
those
the
teams
last
would
fight of
contradict
Pokemon
each other
I
quite well, though.
ever
Or quite badly.
Plan to play.
I cannot wait to design a trainer for guitarist Kirk and give him a Snipermon.
Let's go.
Fan service, Cynthia, true. Don't say bro, don't say bro. Guitarist Kirk and telling on me.
Come on.
Yeah, Wallace did, Imperium did Wallace Juan doubles champ.
So here's the deal.
It has throat chop.
I had no
Pre-damage for
no
AI
Pokemon box
fights?
that could beat Kyogre.
I think
Why?
pre-damaging for AI fights is
So-
fun. I think I like the way Renamon does it.
Is my answer. Choice Banded Noivern.
Pre-damage, pre-status. I personally think it's some of the most creative strategy you can use in games like this. It's kind of
Gonna frisk that
become
orb.
stale, I guess, because we do it so. Oh, your
Banded
opponent
user.
using it. Maybe pre-status. Maybe. Because I do think that
Go
Hydreigon
into Golly. At this HP,
in
Ice Beam will always
Lucid
eject
on
Galissa.
Terra Island with obviously Terra I don't really like, but like terastallizing into a poison type pre-poison belch is really
Perfect.
that's really cool.
Into Sceptile.
That's just like a really creative idea. One of the few that Lucid
And
has.
This is the situation.
That's crazy, Dripski.
Leaf Storm is a range.
Oh. Wait.
I didn't crit the U-turn. Leaf Storm could do... It could see as many as 15 rolls that kill. It could see as few as 12 rolls that kill.
What?
And Kyogre has far too much HP for me to tell with a ruler.
This would be insane.
So... I couldn't run a boosting item. I need the Scarf for later. I'm going to click Leaf Storm. And at
Let's
that
go!
point, it's out of my hands.
How does that not kill?
Yes!
Okay, let's go. Let's go. By the way, Metachimp fake out CC always kills
Get
that.
your bum ass out here, Paris.
By the way.
It's time to die.
Fake out CC with Metachimp kills that. But
Udacity kills with flip and liquid.
Overgrowth Sceptile
Fine.
in
Safety,
is a range after
for the
chip.
goat. Jump out into eject button for Shifu. Regardless of which thing this clicks, it cannot flip. Because eject button supersedes it.
W vocab, by the way.
Go back into Galissapod. This is what the choice band is for. FJ, you're the GOAT. because Choice Band Adamant Golisopod one-shots with first impression.
It's higher. I know its special defense is higher, yeah, but
Alright.
it's still crazy to think about,
I'm not
right?
low enough to bait Goodra, so next is Palkia.
Yeah, Golly's a
It
goat.
unfortunately sees both Hydro Pump and Draco Meteor. Draco would be significantly better. You know exactly where I'm going.
You know what idea I had, guys, that I thought was really fun? But the thing that took, like, that made me not want to do it was because people are dishonest and kind of
Hey,
shitty.
good, no crit. Good,
But,
no crit.
it's an isopod, true. I wanted to, this was like a year ago that I wanted to do this. I wanted to host a competition
Okay, it's guaranteed crit.
for,
I need to
like,
drink
get
it
people
twice
into
and
run and run and into, like, streaming Nuzlocke and stuff. And, like, the first person who beat Run and Bun, who has never beaten it before, like, the first person to be the, like, a new winner, a new champ,
I should be able to
gets,
get
like,
this done.
$500.
Double crit from Pump doesn't kill me.
I wanted to do that. And I think it's such a fun idea. But the issue is somebody would just make a Twitch alt. And, like, somebody who's beaten the game would just make a Twitch alt, and it's very difficult to, like, police that.
And now flip out.
You know what I mean? Like, smurfing it. Like, and I don't know how I would deal with that. You just stream with Cam, but then that's ableist. Like, yes, they would have to stream it. Send them ID. That
Good.
is a whole other issue. EK 1DR or Runabout 1DR? What's harder? EK, I think.
Back in the Sceptile.
Yeah, requiring camera and mic is pretty unfair. Voice, also kind of unfair. But, like, you see the idea
Delete
I
this
had?
guy with Leaf Storm. I'm gonna spend 2 people
I would
here
love to
doing
just have, like, an
that's
honor
fine.
system to just, like,
Fine.
you know, don't do that. But, I don't know.
And
for your Rom
Sceptile
Hack?
is going to now bait
It's a really good idea.
Goodra. The issue is because
I think
was supposed
people
to be
now
89,
twitching us by
it was only
ID.
gonna have like one roll of
Yeah, good
picking
point.
Aquatail. Now it's most of them. So
In
this is
private
pretty
with
much
you?
50-50 heavy slam Aquatail.
That's
Aquatail
a
would be
good
worse.
point. Do honor when there's money on the line? Yeah.
And the reason Aquatail would be worse is because I'm going straight into Big Bear.
But, like, imagine the kind of like, bro, if you, like, if I did do something like that and somebody, like, smurfed it and to steal the money from, like, people who are, like, trying to, like, become
That's
new
fine.
champion, that's so fucked up, bro.
So I didn't get to
Like,
run
you're a
the hard
fucking
Big Bear
asshole if you do that.
on Phoebe, but I'm running it here. Scarf, Big Bear.
DNA samples,
Boom.
that's crazy.
In comes Manaphy.
That's a good point, Volcanic.
This is only ever Scald.
The idea behind it would be to try to get new people into Run and Bun. But another issue I
One more
had,
time.
like, an idea was, like, like, how do I put it? I would feel bad that, like, people who would want to participate but already have a run at, like, Winona or something would have to
Energy
restart
Ball
for
crit,
it.
So I can't flip.
Otherwise, they get, like, an unfair
gotta go
advantage because they
hard
already have a
into
run,
Sceptile.
I guess. Like, I'd want everybody to start at the same
I'm lower
time
than
or
I
something like that.
expect it to be. I don't.
That's crazy, Rasputin. That's crazy.
That's not what gaming's about. I don't know if I'm dead to Energy Ball at this HP. I know I wasn't at 89. If it's anything, it's Energy Ball or it's Tail Glow here, though.
Alright, that's GG. Unless he's dead to Cray here if it clicks Energy Ball. Well, I wouldn't police how they play Run and Bun.
Flips. Good.
I wouldn't police how they play
Good.
Run and Bun. I would just
Good.
police when they
Good.
start,
Good.
like, at the same
Good.
time, right? You know?
We are
Averunners get 1,000.
so
Averunners get the same amount.
good. Sceptile outspeeds 2 more Leaf Storms.
Mandatory trainer name. That's a really good way to do it.
Manaphy down.
Do you guys think I should do this? Watch, it's going to be a 50-50 if this kills. Zoroark should not be useless. Good point, actually. 5 players or something? That would be really fun. But that's a lot of coordinating from different people and their schedules. He's got something up his sleeve. It's a range. Watch, it's a range. I actually don't know. Oh, never mind. Kendall beat 1DR! Big congrats to Kindle. Go follow Kindle, guys, if you're not already. Shows cam? Oh, yeah, sorry. This is live, yeah. Yes, it's the level 85 ape.
I finally feel satisfied.
Big congrats to Kindle.
I'm finally content with this game.
How many 1DRs is that now? 3. Now Kindle can go make what I love to his wife after 6 long months. That's true, Vendrua. W chat. No one's beaten NG plus 1DR. Someone redeem New Game Plus, please. Please. Someone redeem New Game Plus. Someone's gotta have 250,000.
Show me the screen. Show it to me. I've come home!
Let's go. Next challenge, going outside. Frank, Josh, and Choppa have already also beaten it.
Oh my god, Noivern, fucking best dragon in the game. Fuck Dragapult. Absolute bum.
I'm sorry, Jerb. Big congrats to Kindle. That's the fucking goat right there. Big congrats to Kindle. That's actually like genuinely so fucking cool though. I think Kindle is one of the most underrated people in the community. Obviously people watch Kindle. Kindle is fucking awesome. I think everybody likes Kindle. Go follow if you're not already. He's the goat. Yeah, Renamon 1DR is fucking crazy. Who would have thought? What's up, Improved Boar? How's it going? Champ Noivern before? Yeah, Noivern's champed a couple times. Be cool. That would be interesting. Yeah, I know, right, Loki? Who you guys got for the Super Bowl tomorrow? Oops, what did I just do? There you go. Hoenn made the landslide water and the waterside land. That's crazy. Someone should do that. They can't take champion Mons. It's pretty hard at this point, Frosty. Hi, Boar. A tradition was for most people to try to champ one new Mon, but a lot of stuff's been champed at this point, and it's a lot harder. List from the top? Yes. Big P needs to be champed, I agree. Yeah, Bear, it's been a while. Patriots need this. No, they don't. Boom. A lot of guys are jobbers, yeah. Immediately deleted the game, did he? That's so funny. Someone needs to redeem New Game Plus now. Yeah, Dragonite's still not champed. Ampharos too. So, what's up, Anti-Slicer? I've said this before. My original Elite Four team was going to be... I ran into an issue, like a big issue, that ended up not working. But it was originally... It was Urshifu, Glycopod, Sceptile... I don't remember the other one. It was Glycopod or Shifu. I think it was Glycopod or Shifu, Sneasler, Sceptile, and then the other two were Ampharos and Galar Weezing. That was my team for a while. Like I was gonna go live, and then I had to. I found an issue and it didn't work, so I had to replace Ampharos and Weezing, sadly. But I was gonna be doing Phoebe singles and Glacier doubles, but ended up not working. Encore Queen herself? Which one? Yeah, Sceptile's insane. What's up, Gary? Yes. Salad? What? Who is Salad? Salazzle. It's been champed in New Game Plus, I'm pretty sure. And someone in a Discord demon. A Discord demon who's good. Cap, shouts to Cap. Help me with my water monotype run and bun E4 win. He champed Salazzle on his run, but he didn't stream it. True North! True, what's up, dude? And if he get mons, champs get, sorry, I cannot speak. Any NFE mons get champed yet? No. Hi, North, I'm good. Guaranteed great encounter. We were talking about like how Emerald Kaizo has Salamence and how Renabun has Urshifu. People seem to like that. Hi, Halo. Hi, Cage. Canadians don't watch football, but I only cared about last year being a bird bowl. I was disappointed it was so chantable. Yeah, fair, actually. There's anything undocumented or optionals aren't in the docs. Oops, I'm coming for you. I think that's fair. Guaranteed encounter personally, but it makes the game more balanceable. What would you prefer? Okay, how about this, right? I remember hearing something from Dexa a long time ago that originally Urshifu was supposed to be like a random Ultra Beast. Do you like the idea of like a guaranteed good encounter or like a guaranteed good encounter at random between a pool? It would probably not be like a ton of them, but like a few, right? Lava Ridge good or Urshifu bad? I think Lava Ridge would be good if Swampert and Blaziken were like even close to as good as Sceptile is. I think it's somewhere in the middle, probably. Urshifu's sort of a random pool. Yeah, that's kind of true. Somewhat equal. Mega Pert way earlier. Yeah, I agree. By pulling Guzzlord. I'm not saying it would be Ultra Beasts. I'm just saying like that was like an example. Copying what other people did with Urshifus. Yeah, true. What's a Herenian? It's a Roberto. That's the fossil encounter. It's a guaranteed within a pool and it has too much variance. You think it has too much variance? I think, yeah, Rampardos is pretty bad, for example. Hi, Swoobatter, W name. I love Swoobat. Rumber pool, maybe with a bit more consistency. Fair. Zero or Zarude or something similar. Interesting. Pretty well balanced. Yeah, for sure. I'm just talking like in theory, right? Legends Megas, would you change any stats? Okay, so here's the thing. I don't know how much. Okay, I am working on a ROM hack. I have been working on a ROM hack technically on and off for like a while. I get demotivated. Also, full transparency, I stream full time and I do YouTube full time. So for me to make a living, I have to be streaming and I have to be making content, right? So I don't have enough time to fully work on a ROM hack. Thankfully, I have help now. I will ideally be making more than one ROM hack, but my focus right now is an Emerald ROM hack. I know people are sick of Emerald, but trust me when I say there will be... Is uniquity a word? Uniqueness? I don't know if uniquity is a word, but uniqueness in the ROM hack that makes it feel different. I know people are sick of Hoenn. The reason that Hoenn and Emerald is the ROM hack that people pick is because it is by far the most technologically advanced ROM hacking system, which is why we see a lot of ROM hacks. Uniqueness is the word? Okay, never mind. Uniquity sounds cooler, so we're going to say that. I have an entire first split of a game done that I will not show you guys that will have a bunch of shit changed. Making a new region from scratch is hard as fuck. I am not an artist. I cannot design custom tile sets. I cannot design custom trainers. trainer models and sprites. Uncurcuantly true. Ubiquity true. You're right. However, I found a great use for my Patreon, and updates of the game will be on my Patreon. I currently have nothing on my Patreon, basically. Updates on the game will be on my Patreon. I found a perfect use for it. So if you want to keep up to date with a ROM hack that I will be working on, and I finally have like a lot of help on certain things that I need help with, updates will be there, which I'm really excited about. I agree with you. I love Hoenn personally. I just know people are kind of sick of it. Higher tier Patreon sub where you can suggest a fight theme for your ROM hack. We have a bunch of ideas for like higher tier stuff that maybe sometimes go even as far as like trainers. So help with Charlie Kirk sprites. No, I'm good. Thank you though. But yeah, on my Patreon, we are going to post updates as they come. I will try to post one really soon, actually. Maybe we'll see what I can come up with. But I agree, Neff. But I think it would be like very minimal amount of inspiration from like people. I think it's fine. That's a good point, Barrow. They're getting more and more advanced day by day, Cacao. But I'm excited. I think it'll be fun. Something I really like about Run and Bun that I will tease you with, I suppose, is I personally think it's really cool that Brawly's the first gym leader, and Roxanne's the second gym leader. And then Flannery and Norman are switched. I like the rerouting of the game in that sense. I think it's really cool. And I have ideas. How do we scale difficulty? My goal is to make it as difficult as Run and Bun, if not more. If not, maybe like a little bit less. I don't know. We'll see. My inspiration's Run and Bun. Yeah. Darn Pearl can do Waker Maylene first. I think that's cool, yeah. But I'd rather the stuff be like a surprise and like fun when it comes out eventually. Fuck with the idea, I just DM'd you. Let me look. I'm using Lucid as inspiration. I'm using Lucid as inspiration in the sense of like as little characteristics of Lucid as possible, I think. That's crazy, Ivory. Player character is Wallace Wan / Yowie daughter. If any Gen 10 Pokemon? Probably not. However, I would love to have... I personally love Mega Evolution. I think Mega Evolution's awesome. I want Mega Evolution to be heavily implemented, kind of like it is in Run and Bun, to a greater degree. And I would love to have ZA Megas. My hope is that the ZA Megas have abilities later this month when like champion stuff is more... We know more about champions and all that stuff. Gauntlets being considered? Yeah, Gauntlets will be in. I already have one planned. Lucid is a good example of what not to do with a ROM hack, yeah. But I think new Megas having like official abilities, because I don't want to give them custom ones, really would be fun.
My shit right now.
Cassidy, thank you for the prime.
Will Ursaluna be in the
I don't know.
hack?
I'm not sure. Did I hit 6-7? My bad. Thank you so much, Cassidy, with the 33 months of prime. Enjoy the emotes badge after viewing. Maybe cool. Maybe. Any ideas who the champion's gonna be? I haven't gotten that far ahead. But I'm very motivated right now. I think the Patreon is a perfect way, because like I said, I stream full time and I do YouTube full time. I'm in a really thankful situation. I'm very thankful to be able to do this. I'm really lucky, right? But at the end of the day, I do still have to make money, right? So I have to stream and I have to work on YouTube videos with a lot of my my time, right? So like working on a ROM hack as much as I want to, it like I could be using that time, and it takes a lot of time. I could be using that time to work on a YouTube video or to stream or to make content, right? But if I am able to like monetize it in a way through Patreon that people are interested in like people are interested in it that way, it makes me feel better about doing it. So I think I found the perfect balance that allows me to like work on this some more, among as well as like having help now, which is really nice. Good looking custom megas. I have an artist working with me for small number. Talk to if you want. I don't want any custom megas, but I think custom megas are cool. Well, I have ideas, but I don't want any like stuff like that personally. But I think it is cool in like Emerald Imperium, for example. I think it's pretty dope. In a Nuzlocke context, yeah, I agree. I think terastallizing could work, but Lucid just does it really badly. Includes ZA megas. As long as they have official abilities by that time, then yes. Otherwise, I'm not sure. I would love to, though. They seem really cool. Another thing I could do is just give them, like, ability. I don't know. We'll figure it out. To live up to this. I hope Platinum Kaizo is fun. I think I'll enjoy it. I just don't know how much other people will. Why do you think Lucid uses it badly? There's sections of the game. One is called Terra Island, for example. You're able to terastallize there. The last fight's pretty cool, although frustrating because it's really hard. Basically, the whole like idea behind it is like you just terastallize to like break the AI's ankles. So like, it just feels like it's always like, okay, lead this Pokemon, terastallize to this type, bait accordingly, or like, I don't know. I think it's just implemented poorly in the sense that like it's repetitive. Competitive but subjective. I think it's good and competitive, but Lucid's really hard. I think Lucid's hard and worth playing if you want a difficult ROM hack that's not run and run. Yeah, Barrow. I think so too. I think so too. I just think it's repetitive, like terastallizing to a ghost type to avoid blah blah blah. I would love to honestly see like. So the last boss on Terra Island and Lucid has a Terra Poison pre-poisoned Hydreigon with Belch. And it has Levitate, which is super cool. That is really fucking cool and creative. I just think the player being able to terastallize is really repetitive and boring. At least the way it's set up. Yeah, and also just like fights have like no cohesion. They're just like 6 months slapped onto a team for no reason, really. Players need to have access to everything. I agree with that. I don't think... full transparency... I don't think I would give the player a covert cloak, for example. Make enemies Gigantamax. And Unbound, it was pretty cool. Yeah, Neff, exactly. I will say I respect Lucid for what it is. I just heavily disagree with a lot of the design philosophies and choices that Rain made. And I think it's great that Rain... I mean, Lucid's a really impressive ROM hack. Like, in a lot of ways, so... Shoutouts to Rain. There's so many design choices that I don't agree with. I think something more interesting would be like when you catch a Pokemon and it inherently has a different Terra type, like a random one or something like that. Just like Hidden Power. So like you can do, oh my god, my Rapidash is Terra Ghost. I can terastallize like that would be super cool, right? But in Lucid, you can just change it to whatever you want, which I think is really boring. Unbound's fun. Camomons is pretty cool, too. Could be a game-breaking encounter. But, like, the issue, Liam, is, like, you can... Also, what's up? You can only use it in these certain sections. So, I'm just talking about Lucid, for example. Like, there's only 2 sections where you're able to terastallize, and there's only, like, a couple of fights per section. So, like, it only really comes up there, but, like, that could be super clutch for whatever it may be, right? I think it would be super game-breaking if you could just do it anywhere and really hard to balance. Platinum hack, personally. Unbound's cool. It's a really fun ROM hack. Terra Steel, Riolu, evolve it and it works, and or take into account the Evo as well. Terra Steel, Riolu, what do you mean by that? I'm a little confused, sorry. It's also kind of boring because it mostly just turns the AI mon into a nuke with extra stab because you can always protect that. Yeah, I think when it's used like the Hydreigon, it's really cool. Or like a terrassalized Gyarados with like Terra Blast flying makes it more threatening. I think it's cool. VR support. Random Terra type. Oh, I'm not sure. I think it would just stay as Terra Steel. Because Terra also gives you like a boost to damage, right? I don't know how okay you are with this idea, but there's a Gen 3 Johto Rom Hack called Pokemon Heart and Soul that's open source. So if you have good enough programmers, you could probably put in all mons. Yeah, I've seen that. It is pretty cool. It's cool now because I have help. That's also true, I think. That's a good point. Since I have help now to work on this, I'm not as worried about like the coding aspect of things. Like, is this doable for me? Well, I think Terra Poison is cool because it also has Levitate, Barrow. I think Heart and Soul is very interesting. I just think Heart Gold and Soul Silver are fucking terrible, so I'm not like as interested in that. No offense to anybody who likes them. Also, having a game with every Pokemon is hard to balance. I think Rom Hack should not have every Pokemon. Not every Pokemon game has every Pokemon. Like, it's so hard to balance. That's true, Neff. That's true. Like, Scarlet and Violet has like a limited dex, right? I think that's cool. Offense taking, sorry. Gen 5 hacks. I would agree if the AI was tweaked. Also, it's much harder to make animated sprites. Horribly balanced, yeah. This one should soundtrack. Could be cool. True, all mons in the game makes duping nearly impossible. Also that, yeah. What are some Pokemon that you don't see in like Run and Run, for example, that you think would be really interesting to get access to? Mr. Rhyme. Screen Cleaner is pretty cool. Smeargle, no, absolutely not. Smeargle is way too powerful. Heliolisk. Heliolisk is a cool one. The issue is it gets dry skin, which is really strong. Girafarig. I think Farigiraf was like the most fun Pokemon to use in Lucid for me. Charge Bug and Runabout? Nope. Electric type that uses the sun. That is pretty cool. Blissey. Blissey's too strong. Diplin's a cool one, though. Yeah, I agree with that, Murph, yeah. Trevenant's a fun one. You get Trevenant in Renamon, though. Wugtrio. Isn't Wugtrio horrible? I say this because I had an idea about a Johto difficulty hack where Johto is running but inspired where it's vanilla, but Kanto is more inspired by Sterling Silver for new abilities. Ooh, okay. That'd be interesting. Scrafty. I love Scrafty. Just rambling. Yeah, that's fair. I mean, that's cool. Tangrowth, Bronzong. I actually had I had built a Watson team for a Rom Hack that Clodsire dismantled, so I had to redo it. That's cool, Will. Eevee and Quagsire. Eevee's a fun one. Relicanth. Relicanth's in Run and Bun. Fun fact. You just never get it. Hisui Gudra's cool. That's true, Murph. That's true. Mimikyu. Orthworm is cool, but Earth Eater's a broken-ass ability is the thing. Defensively oriented Pokemon. I also agree, yeah. Fortress Cursula Dusknoir. I think Dusknoir is interesting. Like in a game that you don't get Eviolite would be pretty cool because it makes it just better, right? In a lot of situations, at least. Low Kicks is cool. Castform. I don't love Castform. Heatproof Groudon. Why Heatproof Groudon though? That doesn't do anything. Eviolite in general. That's another thing is like Eviolite. I think Eviolite is cool, but also it depends on when you get it. You'd be surprised at how like. Let's put it this way, right? Orthworm's not ass because it's a steel type. Steel types are just inherently going to be useful. And an ability that completely removes its weakness just, like, is really, really strong. On a pretty bulky mon like that. This is so funny. How so? Skarmory. I do like Skarmory. Mid-late game, Eviolite, having people delay Evos would be pretty sick. That would be pretty cool. The issue is I think Eviolite makes Pokemon like Porygon Z and like Dusknoir a lot less useful. Like almost useless, it feels like, in a lot of instances. I also don't think they promote exciting gameplay. Mega Ray's a starter, true. Mid-late game Eviolite having people delay Evos would be kind of sick. I think it could be cool. The Badge 1 Game Corner guys came with Eviolite. Oh, that's actually interesting. Bad legendaries would probably would be nothing more than novelty, though. Yeah, I think that's interesting. It really depends, Luke, but yeah, they definitely could be. That's cool. So Izuka, welcome in. Thank you. Hello, I appreciate that. Balance the player having a box art legend would be cool, but only available for VR and E4. I mean, box art legendaries are broken. And if they get nerfed to not be broken, then they end up being like not as fun, in my opinion. Where Luminion's good. Yeah, Ancestral X, it's like one of the best Pokemon in the game. The Vikavolt, it's cool, yeah. Fun to battle. Not fun to use. Yeah, CK plus Snorlax is like very, very strong if you like were to get access to it, really. At least I would think so. If you were to get it earlier, at least. What's up, Hugo? I am burnt the fuck out from Run and Bun. What's up, TJ Park? How's it going? Vikavolt is a really interesting Pokemon that Lucid gets access to, but you don't in Run and Bun. I think stuff like Sticky Webs could be cool on it. Like, you get Tailwind, I think, on it, too. Which is fine. Okay. Shift Train, Ludicolo, and a constantly changing erratic weather. Dozo, Geary, Terra Electric, Air Balloon, Shedinja. Stuff like trades not being broken is also in contention with great guaranteed encounters. While several stuff on here is down to the community and popularity of the game, documentation and calc can be great for any game. It's just most Nuzlockers will never do the grunt work of people like me and Emmy. I don't agree. Mega Flygon. I mean, I don't really have any interest in making like custom sprites or like custom megas like that. If Flygon had a mega, I'd be down, but Sticky Web is pretty broken, yeah, Venture. That's a good point. Lose Murloc. I did not know. Aggron a balanced steel. Yeah, I think like I think Pokemon like Aggron are really well balanced because they have very clear weaknesses. Anyone can make custom doc/calc. Traits can be guaranteed encounters like Garbage Green did, for example. What? Wait, that, like, yeah, we've established this. The thing about, like, the Radical Red early game eggs is, like, you get a literal random Pokemon of the entire pool, and you can get Cosmog which is very broken, obviously. It's impossible to balance, it feels like. See the difference between a guarantee / trade then? Guaranteed great encounter was... I mean, I'm writing this down for me, right? Guaranteed great encounter was... The examples used were like EK Salamence, Run and Bunner Shifu. The useful and not broken trades was people like stuff like Hisui Arcanine. Although it is pretty strong, right? But this is all like very out of context, just like jotted down notes. It's also not a guaranteed encounter because you don't guarantee to get Growlithe. Ikemen's balance as fuck. It's pretty broken, but like it is part of why the game's doable. Yeah, I think that's fair, Ventura, yeah. Yeah, true. I also don't think Hisui Arcanine's broken. It's really strong though. Do you like roamers? I do. Well, I like a system kind of like that. The run-on system's horrible, but I like a system like that. Like where you're able to get them. I just don't know how I would exactly prefer it, you know? I think hell item distribution is a big one. Need to give enough tools to unlock a little creativity, but not so many tools to make early and trivial. Well said. I agree 100%. I think promoting creativity is a really big thing with games like this. Paradox Legendary? Perhaps. Pokemon's cool. Illusion is useless, that's true. Yeah, Landies, that would be pretty cool. I like the pace at which you get the starter evolutions in Run and Bun. By Gym 3 or 4, you have a final stage. I also like that, yeah. I think if the roamer legendaries weren't so miserable, people would feel better about them. Like, having to like switch back and forth is just so annoying. Random Paradox can be balanced because they all kind of have bad move sets except Flutter. Well, then you just get Flutter and you win, right? I'm gonna be so fucking for real with you. There is a 0% chance I give the player access to Flutter main. There's no chance. I'm sorry. And because of that, they probably don't get access to any other Paradox mons. I think just removing EVs is better. Less tedious. There's probably a way to make EVs interesting, though. What's wrong with Ghost Fairy with good stats? True, that's a great question. Fluttermane isn't that broken? That's an opinion. Imperium, as much as it was a boring game, I got the illusion ability right. Basically, Zora had a life orb as long as... Oh, that's cool. I remember that. I think so, too. But I think, like, limited vitamins is cool when the game is designed around it. And that's not something I'm interested in really balancing. Should be a starter for Raging Bolt. I like it. Brute Bonnet and Iron Jugulus. Okay, here another thing I really like is consistency. And if I didn't give one Paradox, I probably wouldn't give any. Cleavor starter, true. 3-stage baby Pokemon like Pichu. I don't like baby Pokemon. Brokenest Flutter Mania game? Yeah, definitely. That could be cool, Muttley. That's an interesting thought. Waste of a Pokedex slot. Loki, you're spitting there. Losing the kind of famous fossil. I also don't really like that. Never really was a fan of that one. Also, background music. Thank you. Thoughts about a way to re-roll IV/nature of a Pokemon as a resource, but to a random one? I think that could be interesting. It just could feel like shit. Like, really shit. You know? Different resource still could like... Oh, if a different resource still could let you choose, I think that's interesting. There's an example of something like that in a game that I've played. I don't remember what it was, though. Most mythicals would be balanced. I think the mythicals in Run and Bun are really creative is the cool part. Like, some of the Mew E4 lines are really fun. Wait, what, Nev? 3 random natures, kind of like a roguelike? That's cool. Oh, Tabitha 1 frags. But thanks to Goat. Wait till you get to Flannery, bro. A different HP without modifying IV for technician mons. Wait, what? Tracking kills I think would be fun. Ooh! That's really cool. That's an interesting idea. Player access to Arceus. Good shout. That would be pretty cool, actually, as well, Ventura. Creative moves. Yeah, sure. I mean... They just like key parts of the movesets. I learned in Cobblemon that a Pokemon will, like, attack you. It'll, like, aggro onto you. If it has, like, a different nature. Like, certain natures are more likely to, like, attack you or whatever. It's so annoying. Treasures of Ruin. The thing is, I feel like Chien-Pao would just be the best, right? It is Chien-Pao, right? Chien-Pao. It's Chien-Pao, Chi-Yu, Wo-Chien, and... Ting-Lu. It is Chien-Pao, yeah. Chien-Pao would just be the... Chien-Pao and Chi-Yu would just be the best, I think. Low man, yeah. True, Snom. Based on the game on Emerald, you could tap into the game's ribbon mechanics from Constance and Warp 1 ribbons. Swoop Batter? That is fucking cool. That's a really interesting idea. Don't know if it was mentioned. How about important boss characters having a legendary, i.e. Entei and Coliseum? Something I like is that every boss in Run and Bun has like one legendary, basically. Like Kubfu, I don't know if that counts as a legendary, but like it is like a legendary. Roxanne has Zygarde, Watson has Zeraora, Norman has Meloetta, Flannery has Entei, Winona has Shaman and Celesteela. I think that's really cool. Legend / Mythic. Yeah. Yeah, Friendship Mechanic's gone, I think. For sure. Shadow Rider has no ghost moves and strongest Psybeam. Could, I guess. Non-boss characters with legendaries and mythics. I agree. That's something I hate about Lucid. Yeah, if it's true. Top parts of Lucid were your favorite. Hey, fair. No legendaries at all would be cool. That probably exists, I think. Kind of a necessity. Yeah, I agree. Different gift bonds throughout the game and locations that don't have encounters or adding encounters to them. Yeah. Like, that would be very, very... Like, encounters added to locations without encounters. Rock Smash encounters. That would be interesting, I think. Could be interesting. Also having multiple teams. I think that is harder to balance, but doable. Terrapagos. I don't know much about that mon right now. Have to feel bad when you wipe. That would piss me off. If you're tracking deaths, there should be an encounter if you have lost X Pokemon by Gym 2's comeback mechanic. That would be really cool, actually. cool. Yeah, I think it gets like stale for sure. That's where doubles is great. I think so too. Yeah, I agree with that luck mission. Balanced berries / item distribution. Kind of wish you had access to rock smash / surf / fishing / grass early. And the encounter tables being different each, but it would be a lot of extra work. True, yeah. I kind of agree with you though. I think it depends, Light Dreams, but like I think Overgrow and them have their place because they're really interesting abilities in Nuzlocke. Hard level caps. It would have hard level caps, I think. But I think having a manager XP isn't bad. I just think for this specific thing, it would. I agree with that though. Yeah, Javen. Surf should be delayed. Hi, Vinart. Welcome in. Treat Revival Blessing. Free revive. That is interesting. For the rest of the fight. Or Banhammer. That could be an interesting discussion. I agree the Iron Ball thing is pretty whack in Run and Bun, yeah. One PP setup move like AX. I just don't like setup. It gets too broken. Kim Jong-un boss fight. I don't know if I want to keep that one in.
Squirking my shit.
Oh my
right
god,
now.
what the heck? Fluffy with the 5 gift subs. Thank you. HD Jenna Art, Taymodi, Sapphire, Key Spam, and Midnight. Enjoy the emotes badge ad previewing. Thank you, dude. I appreciate that a lot. Thank you, thank you, thank you. W LaFluffly. Theming is really good, better than any other hack I've seen. Theming how? I think that's also true, IGN. I think something I want to emphasize is Sesame Seeds being ass. True. Lua export script. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Easy access to exporting to the calc. If you're coming into stream, by the way, calc short for calculator. I'm just using slang. Dude, daft. It's like the best OSC of all time. But yeah, thank you so much, Fluffly. I really do appreciate it, dude. Okay, we're not gonna say that Sesame Seeds are fire. They're okay. What's up, Q-Spec? We're talking about what people like or want to see in a ROM hack. I feel like maybe instead of a new encounter, just giving you like a revive to one of your dead Pokemon that has to be used immediately. Less snowbally. I think that could work, but I don't know. Because I like the consistency of being like having like mechanics work throughout the game, and I think something being like an only early game mechanic would be I don't know. I'm not sure. Because many things listed out could be partially or completely solved if Pokemon had real side quests. Yeah, true. Unbound has them, which I think is cool. Also, I think the ROM hack ideally would be able to be played casually too. Make it required. And that's it. Maybe. Resource management without grinding. Yeah. Remove grinding in all capacities. There are situations where grinding could be good. Guaranteeing characters is cool because it forces more creativity. Fair. I think having some in certain situations is fine. 1DR game mode that deletes your save file if you lose a Pokemon. That'd be pretty cool, but... Something I've never seen done, but what about being rented a Pokemon if you give player access to some cool stuff, cool ideas? That is pretty cool. Rented Pokemon could be interesting. It would definitely cost something, but... Yeah, luck mission. I think so too. Job as the main boss. Casual compatibility is a huge thing for me. It's where My more radical changes I mentioned even in the field. Yeah, no, I think casual, like, keeping that in mind is interesting. Good amount of Pokemon per route. I don't know. I guess however many Run and Bun usually has is pretty good. Sesame seeds are ass? Yes. I think, oh, that's an interesting idea, Rose, is that another form of like currency in a way. Like Run and Bun, sorry, in Run and Bun, like rare candies almost act as a currency. It's like a limited resource, right? But it almost feels like that in a sense, where like you have to manage it, like using your rare candies in the right place. I think another thing like that could be interesting, like maybe like nuggets are like a resource that does a certain thing, right? That's like an interesting thought. Consumable. What's the word? Like consumable. What's the word I'm thinking of? I guess resources. Thievable items? No, definitely not. Thievable items are bad. The reason for thievable items being bad is because it limits the way that you can design difficulty, I think. Because you always have to worry about this really, really strong item getting thieved too early. Pollination hard to balance, but lines where you bring an underlevel mon to bait at the cost of getting EXP and losing access to a move or something is so fun to me to watch. That is true, Bella. I think stuff like that is pretty fun. Run him on Tice then? Well, that's like not intended is the thing. That was not an intended thing to happen. While I'm having to evo items like Horsey with Dragon Scale and Porygon with upgrade. I don't think all the time. Currency. Currency is the word I'm thinking of. I don't know why I couldn't think of it. Via items. Chat room song request again? No. This is a song request. I think people always talk about money being more of a limited factor. And I think it's cool, but I think if it were to be a thing, people would realize they don't like it that much. I could be wrong on that, but they realize about not permanent. I personally am not a fan of like the not permanent things, I guess. Perfect ROM hack. Run is fucking amazing. It is the best ROM hack of all time. I would agree with that. At least like as far as like Nuzlockes go. Yeah, but like you'd have to understand that like there's gonna be like easier ways to get Pokeballs. I think somebody mentioned earlier like having to buy Pokeballs in a world where money is like limited feels wrong. So I think it would be accounted for. I'm not necessarily saying I want it to be harder than Run and Bun. Pre-status NPC / options, nature changer for cost, a la Run and Bun. Yeah, I do love those ideas. Pre-status damage mons. Yeah, I think quality of life pre-damaging. Although, I'm going to be honest, I think being able to just like poison your poison types at like an NPC is kind of, I don't know how I feel about it. I think that's a really cool strategy. Like, think about it from somebody who's like new to this stuff. They'd be confused about the fact that you can poison a poison type with an NPC, and they don't even like think about the fact that the way to do that is through Salazzle Corrosion. That's a good point, Swoobatter. That's a good point. That's true, Ventura. But I also think like being able to toxic and burn your poison fire types is very interesting. And I think it's like cool strategies revolve around that stuff. That I would love that, Florin, yeah. Both ways uphill. True. I think it comes to the Peach argument, like I can toxic my Pokemon on Nidus safely by making it take only one fang per fight. Wait, what do you mean? Can you burn a fire type in Run and Bun? Yes, you find a Pokemon with Soak and you give it the Flame Orb. Right. An idea I had was that in the Pokemon Center, there's a trainer that pre-damages your Pokemon and also has a little Salazzle that you can talk to toxic your Pokemon. I think that's cute. Don't know what I would do with it. Not having Wild Salazzle in the game would be like... I think that is a very fair way to make it so that you can poison types like through an NPC. Limit instead of a Salazzle. I guess that's true. It is cute. I think it's cute too. It would add character and personality. Another thing that I've mentioned in the past is the reason I don't like Lucid. Sorry, Lucid keeps getting shit on, but I really just don't love the idea. I just don't love a lot of Lucid's balanced decisions. I just simply disagree. But and Lucid on Route 121, there's permanent misty terrain for no reason. Just because it's there. There's no lore behind it. There's no reason. There's nothing like that. Run and Bun, after Weather Institute, it's like permanent rain, permanent electric terrain that obviously simulates a thunderstorm. So I love like the lore reason. Like like this makes sense. I also don't like Aerolate Noivern. Stuff like that makes sense, you know? Erratic weather. There's rain and sun fights. It makes sense because the weather's changing because Kyogre and Groudon are fighting. Permanent Tailwind at Mount Pyre Summit. It's like the very top of a huge mountain, like probably the tallest mountain in the region. So like the wind is really fast. Like it's really strong winds. That makes sense. I think there can be an argument made with like the Aurora Vale in Seafloor Cavern. It's kind of like a misty area like that. There's like, it kind of fits thematically. Hell Room is inside of a volcano. Permanent Magma Storm. That makes sense. Permanent Sun and Emerald Kaizo. That makes sense. That's Magma Hideout. Like permanent rain sections. It all makes sense. But then in Lucid, it's like, haha, misty terrain. No reason. I agree with that, Ventura. I agree. But I also just like think, like how hard is it to really like come up with a reason, right? Like add a little bit more character and personality to this. Like just add a little bit more character. Like, oh, the terrain here is misty for this reason, right? Something like that, right? Otherwise, it just feels like slop. You have more Lucid charisma system. I think when you're talking about ROM hacks, you have to, right? Perma Curse / Mean Looking Mount Pyre. That's fucking cool. Like Renplat E4, but if it will difficulty hack, but there's a place for it. I think there could be a place for it. It seems really hard to balance. Grass Gym with Perma Rain would be fire. Yeah. See, Ivory? That would be... I would think that's sick. How would Sun in the Cave make sense? Well, I think taking it literally is bad, because if you... Like, yes, it's sun, but it's supposed to be like, it's like blazing fucking hot in there. It's the same concept as like electric terrain isn't actually thunder. It's just like an electric field around the battlefield. But like it emulates a thunderstorm, like in Run and Bun on Route 119. You know what I mean? Like it makes sense. Obviously, it's not literally the sun. Or like a grass gym having rain in it. It's supposed to emulate like a rainforest. I think a rainforest section... Like, real talk, I think Route 119 all the way up to Weather Institute being grassy terrain and rain, I think it's like that in Lucid. That makes sense. You know what I'm saying? I think thematically it makes sense. Fog is frustrating, but I fuck with it. Roamer shifting weather would be interesting to live in the mechanic. That is cool, but that does sound like a nightmare to code. Some web trainers, rock gym with auto stealth rocks, etc. Yeah, that stuff's cool. You were playing Pokemon, my brother Christ. Yeah, no, good point, Auto Counter, good point. Did you mention anything about limited protect mons? Oh yeah, limited protect mons, like limited protect / encore / strong move distribution. In the wild area. There you go, that's sick. I didn't know that, but that's cool. Yama Volbeat. Yeah, for sure. One protect team in case you don't get protect bonds. I think that could be too good. Protect is like the best move in the game. You gotta understand that. Auto parasong on Mount Pyre, and then a bunch of mods that either punish or prevent switching a bunch. That is really fucking cool. I love the concept of that. See, stuff like that is creative and really sick. Important decisions around TMs and consumable items. Yeah, I think that's kind of like expressed in here, but like limited use TMs, I'm big on. Spiky Shield exists, true. Reason every Mon runs protecting VGC. Fake out is probably the only other move that rivals its use. Yeah. One Trick Room on. Trick Room's tough. Trick Room can get out of hand pretty fast, but if you get Tailwind, I think getting Trick Room is fair. That could be cool pods, yeah. Something to look at. Obstruct, yeah. Obstruct was broken. It was just like a perfect counter to the Meloetta. True, Dwef, of course. Oh yeah, automatic HM use. Is a fully predictable AI a good thing or not? I think yes. I personally think yes when it comes to games that are designed to be extremely difficult. Big fan of the parts of Renema with the variable conditions like Magma Storm, Room, Thunderstorm, Rival. Yeah, we were just talking about that, Mr. Chip. I agree. Remove status moves, maybe? Remove status moves. Renema doesn't remove status moves. Do you mean like setup moves? That's true, Island. Yeah, I could give something like Behem some usage. Different AI for different classes. Blue Kaizo does that, and I think it's cool, but sounds like kind of a nightmare to keep track of. It's less intuitive that way. Oh yeah, setup moves will not really be like setup and weather. We don't really give access to. Unexpectedly become Trick Room. That's definitely a trick. Whether that changes each turn, I'll Trick Room the swaps on a turn by turn basis. That could be interesting. Yeah, like Calm Mind. Calm Mind player won't get access to. Trick Room sections make artillery shine. I think yeah, more Trick Room sections would be cool. Poison powder, poison gas. I kind of like toxic for certain things. Tailwind or sticky webs. I don't necessarily think so, Molly. I also think it's more creative. Sticky webs is very broken though. Egotistical is cool, I guess. That is pretty cool, but I don't think that's my expertise. Preschool trainers, random AI. More consistent. I would hope so, that they would be like plannable. Well, Sticky Web is really broken in run mode because the AI doesn't realize it's speed dropped until it comes in. Wonder Room, that would be really interesting. But only for the player. Crit rate B, 1 in 16 for sure. I don't like, well, Runabout is a Gen 8 game with 1 in 16 crit rate. I think most games should do 1 in 16. 1 in 24 feels like less good. And then 1.5 times damage. Yeah, eventually it doesn't. I don't know. That's an interesting point. Oh yeah, the Steph and Sunny sex scene. I think 1.5 times damage, 1/16 makes the most sense. Wonder Woman, Magic Room are dumb gimmicks, but Magic, at least there's some fun niches. Yeah, I think that's fair. Great. That's a really interesting idea. Tag battle where you give your partner 3 of your mons. That's like a really interesting idea. How's it implemented? Well, they use your mons, and I think there's like a couple ways to go about it, right? Like you throw your shitters there and they instantly die, or something like that, right? You know. I don't know if that would make it in, but that's a cool thing to think about and like an idea, right? Each partner chooses 3 randomly. Jesus. If you got programmers helping you with code, and they'd be trivial to allow the AI to see speed drop. That's simple add. Yeah, I know that. That's a good point. Ground on Fight and Unbound. Yeah, that exists. Shadow Secret beat up on them. Yeah, stuff like that is really cool. All right, guys. I'm fucking starving. I was planning on doing a shorter one today because of that. I'll be live again probably tomorrow. But thank you for this. This was fucking awesome. A couple of things I just want to say before heading off. One, I mentioned this earlier, but I finally have a use for my Patreon. I'm going to be working on a ROM hack. It is going to be an Emerald ROM hack. If you're interested in that sort of thing, I don't know when it'll come out. I'll make a Q&A. I'm going to put updates on my Patreon. There's currently nothing on my Patreon. If you're interested in that, sub to my Patreon. I'll have a bunch of different tiers. Maybe wait to sub if you want. I don't know. I'm gonna have a bunch of different tiers with like different stuff in it. I'll probably post like video sneak peeks and like behind the scenes and that as well. And also I'll make another channel in the Discord for stuff like that for anybody that have any more suggestions. But this was awesome. I was really, really excited to talk to you guys about this and like give the community's thoughts because I think mine, like I hate Lucid. I think Lucid sucks personally, but a lot of people really like it. But that's just like a subjective opinion, right? But thank you. I'll be live tomorrow with something. I'm a subscriber. Yes, you are. Welcome in. Thank you guys for this. This was pretty dope. Who's live? Let's rate Cheesemo, I guess. Fuck it. Cheesemo's the goat. I like doing streams where I get to just talk to you guys, so it's pretty fun. We'll figure out what we're doing next time. I need a break from Run and Bun, so that'll be something fun. But I need to get dinner. I didn't eat before stream, so. All right. Bye, guys. Be nice. Peace.